All right, Pete, we have to record a brief intro to this episode because times they are a-changing.
What did you do this time?
Well, not since the Joe Hill murder investigation have we influenced the world so much.
Which we solved, by the way.
Which we solved correctly, and the authorities solved incorrectly.
Somebody needs to come for him still.
I know. Well, since we recorded this episode, this Scream 2022 Watchalong, a lot's changed in the Scream franchise, and it affects the things we talked about on the episode.
What are you talking about?
First of all, the SAG strike is over, which we bring up during the episode.
Did we win?
We're not in SAG.
Oh, I am in SAD now.
Yeah, and since then, maybe a couple cast members have dropped out of the Scream franchise for various reasons.
How many have we lost?
So far?
So far.
Two.
It was the big ones, right?
The two leads, yes.
It was Loomis's daughter?
It's Loomis's daughter and Ghostface.
Not Lumen Loomis from Halloween, but Loomis Billy.
Melissa Barrera was fired for reasons that are above my understanding of politics.
I'm with you on that one.
And Jenna Ortega left also, and conveniently the next day, although they claim that was in the works for a long time.
Yeah, you maintain that this movie, the Scream 7, is coming out in 2025, and yes. I say it can't and it shouldn't.
It will, because the last two made hundreds of millions of dollars.
But this is the time to stop. We don't need to force one through. Like, so far, aside from 3, well, the question mark over 3, it hasn't been bad. I feel like this one's going to be bad if they just ramrod it through.
I'm 100% it's going to be bad.
Well, then why are we doing this?
Because that's what they're going to do.
Goddamn motherfuckers.
Yeah, but more importantly, when we bring up on the podcast what we're looking forward to in Scream 7 specifically with the Sam and Tara characters, that's not happening now.
I'm still looking forward to it, and if it's not there, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, it's going to be not what we said it was on this podcast, but also on this podcast, it gives me a chance to correct a couple things. At one point, I say Randy's house. I clearly mean Stu's house. I was just talking without thinking.
I think it was Randy's house.
And when I bring up that they filmed Dewey's stretcher scene 2 times, I don't mean in this movie. I mean in the original Scream. They filmed it with him living and dying in the original Scream, not in Scream 2022. He was always dying in Scream 2022. So now I've corrected the 2 things that I caught.
Listening back to yourself like a weirdo?
I had to listen back to it to see how many times we brought up what's going to happen in Scream 7, which is most of the times. So
I had such high hopes for Scream 7. It was so fun after Scream 6.
So enjoy this episode that is woefully
outdated even as we recorded it, apparently.
Yeah. So this is what happens when we try to plan ahead. Joe Hill gets away with murder, and all of the cast of Scream 7 walks. All right, enjoy the episode. Just a quick update on that last update. This is us in the future again. And, well, Pete, there's been more breaking news on the Scream 7.
Again?
Yeah. The director, Christopher Landon, who I learned is the son of Michael Landon, the teenage werewolf.
The teenage werewolf?
I was a teenage werewolf, and he was Highway to Heaven.
I thought he was a Little House on the Prairie.
And Bonanza.
Not Little House on the Prairie?
And Little House on the Prairie.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Did all those things. His son, was the director. He directed Freaky. He had directed
the Vince Vaughn one.
Yep.
Okay.
And he directed the one we liked, the birthday one.
Birthday.
Happy Tree.
Death Day. Happy Death Day.
Directed Happy Death Day.
I know things.
He was going to take over Scream, and then they fired the actors, as we discussed, and he quit the movie.
So now we're nowhere. So even farther away from everything we talked about.
Yes. And on this podcast that you're going to listen to after this, we brought up that he was directing the movie. I would say ignore that. Just like you have to ignore all the things we talk about looking forward to in Scream 7.
I look forward to what we're not going to be seeing.
So every time you hear Christopher Landon's name, ignore that. Anytime you hear Melissa Barrera's name, ignore that. And every time you hear Jenna Ortega's name, ignore that too, because none of that's going to happen.
All right. So hopefully now we're done, right? We can start the movie.
What else could possibly happen? So now you can go ahead and start the movie. The directions for starting it will be in the regular episode. So enjoy it. Just, I would say only 35% of it is now ruined by talking about futures.
Yeah. So just ignore that.
Yeah.
Just ignore, like normal. Just ignore everything I say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So go ahead and get your copy of Scream 2022 and get ready to watch, because we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Well, not start the episode. We're going to start the movie. We're going to start the episode about the movie.
I was about to hit play. Good work.
All right. Everybody, we'll see you in 0 seconds as we begin the actual episode we recorded now 3 months ago. All right, Pete, we're back for the third and final time.
That's what we said last time.
No, we said second and final time.
Ooh, okay.
So things have changed again.
Of course they have.
It has been confirmed that Scream 7 is coming.
Yes.
And Nev Campbell's coming back.
That is the news that I heard.
And it's going to be directed by original screenwriter Kevin Williamson.
I thought that was old news. That's new news too? I've gotten lost in what the updates are. So much is happening.
It's new news to us as we record this now.
Okay.
We originally recorded this watch-along sometime in the winter.
Oh my gosh.
And immediately after doing so, they fired the star and Jenna Ortega quit. So we had to record a brief message saying, ignore all the talk about what we're talking about when Scream 7 comes up in the podcast.
Because the situation has changed.
And then the director quit.
Fantastic.
So now, this is going to be the final one because we already know who's out. So it can't really affect the thing anymore. I don't know what's going to happen with the twins. I'm not recording another one for the twins. We're going to put this out before any information will come out of that.
All right. I don't know how I feel about Nev Campbell being back, by the way.
You know what? We'll save that for another day. Because we have to get this podcast out before everything changes again.
All right, maybe that'll give me time to have an opinion because I don't know what to think still.
So this was recorded during the writer's strike. At that time, it was going to star the Carpenter sisters, and it was going to be directed by the guy from Freaky. And
oh yeah, I can't remember his name.
Now none of that's happening. Christopher Landon.
Yes.
No, none of that's happening. But we do know what's happening. And in the time that we're releasing this, before it changes again, Nev Campbell's starring in it. We don't have any other information. We're not breaking back in for more information. We're just going to put out the podcast because it's so out of date. It was out of date within 1 week of recording it, and we waited 5 months.
5 months so far.
To see if it got more in date?
It might. Everything, time's a cycle, man. A circle, not a cycle. It's also a cycle, but it comes back around. If we wait long enough, we'll be perfect.
This was not a bit. We did not do this on purpose.
I don't think anything I've ever done in my life is a bit.
No, I mean either. But
having my kids might be this big joke that I'm not quite sure why I did. But
this was not a planned thing. This just really fell apart immediately. And then we thought after it fell apart, it'd be funny to keep adding these additions to it. But we don't know what other additions we could possibly do.
So this will be the last one.
So just enjoy Scream 2022 with two people talking about things that will never happen.
And were dated before they started.
They were dated almost immediately. So here we go. For real this time.
For real and for finals.
Yes. The instructions for listening along will be coming up right after this. It'll just be us back again. I'll probably put some kind of a chime or something in between. I don't remember if I did that the last 2 times.
Ding.
There you go. Enjoy Scream 2022.
Ding.
Welcome back to the Scare Value Podcast. This is Brian and Pete, who gets mad if I don't introduce him.
Yeah, because I get lonely not hearing my name when I don't listen to this show.
You can just introduce yourself.
No, I am not the host of this show.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no one told me.
You picked the movie today.
What movie did I pick?
Scream 2022.
Yes. Also, we're all by ourselves. We haven't done this in a while.
It has been a bit.
Kind of nice.
Yeah. You're the one who says you never want this to be the two of us.
I hate the fact that it's just the two of us. This is terrible. I have nothing to say to you. Last time we tried, I just wanted to watch the movie, which is what I want to kind of do again.
No, don't start that shit.
It's a good movie. I want to just kind of watch.
Well, we're going to watch Scream 2022, not Scream the original, which would have made sense. Not Scream 6, the most recent one, which would have made sense. We're just starting right in the back middle.
Well, you know what's funny? Kitty has only, I think, ever seen the first Scream.
Yeah.
And she watched this one with me because I watched it so I could kind of remember what happened because I haven't seen it since the theater. So this was her first time, just jumping right into the middle of it.
I think you're fine skipping the other ones.
I don't disagree.
This one's a love letter to, we'll get into it. This one's a love letter to the first one.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, where are we starting today?
If you want to watch with us, grab a copy and watch for the Paramount logo. Once it disappears and dissolves to black, pause it immediately. And that's where we're going to hit play together when I count down from 3. I have a kind of a soothy voice today.
I was thinking that, and it was creepy and weird because it's dark out now, and we're all like close to each other in a room.
Let me light this candle.
Ooh,
this will
Halloween candle. You should see this Halloween candle I have. All right, you want to start it?
We just count down from 3, and we can do that with. You want to try it?
2, 4, turtles, 3.
3, 2, turtles, play.
Damn you, sir.
Now we're getting a different logo, Spyglass. This used to be Dimension.
I remember Dimension.
Yeah, another Dimension. It was Dimension in 1 through 4.
Which one was Dimension X?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I swear to God, there's a Dimension X something.
This is the first Scream movie without Wes Craven.
Oh, that's right, because at the end there's a little thanks, Wes.
For Wes.
For Wes, whatever.
Which they make part of the narrative as well.
You know what? This is actually Jenny Ortega.
No.
It's not?
It is Jenna Ortega.
Oh, I was so close.
They lucked out. She hit massive superstardom after being cast in this movie.
Oh, so she was in this before? What's her
People knew who she was, but she wasn't like the big star she is.
What is she a star for, though?
Wednesday.
I haven't seen Wednesday, so...
That doesn't change the fact that millions and millions have.
Well, it doesn't make her a star then in my mind, because I don't know who she is, really.
Possibly also just some of that online fame.
Oh, yeah, see, there's a lot of that.
She's in the opening scene, so she's clearly somebody that was known in Hollywood, but it wasn't... She's leveled up to a giant star. Probably bigger than the show's had.
That's what happened with the X-Men's, the first classes, right? A bunch of those people.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender.
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult, horror movie fan, I assume. He's been in a lot of those now, hasn't he? Just the two?
He was Nux in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
The last time Brian cried at the theater.
Did you cry for him?
I did. Pete, he died heroic on the Fury Road.
You saw that one in the theater?
Okay, no, I didn't. I guess that's the last time I just cried at all.
Oh.
Which is weird because my father died.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? That's what old people do. Yeah. They get old and then they die.
He died years ago.
Right. So it makes it less sad.
Didn't cry then either. So this is the first time that somebody survives the opening scene of the movie, which is a nice little twist, but also one that doesn't fundamentally make a ton of sense since they're just giving a love letter to the original.
Yeah, but it's also the passing on. It's the, it's trying to hand off a franchise and set it off in a new direction.
Not this one. This one's really keeping it tight to the original.
Yeah, but it's still introducing the new cast because a lot of these people survived this one.
Yes.
So you have the people for the second movie.
No, I get that, but it's you need to put that person in the opening scene. I guess narratively it ends up being important, but it also made me think that she could be the killer.
Did it?
It worked for me because like it bothered me from the beginning that she survived. Not bothered me like I hated it. It bothered me like how'd she survive that?
Right.
Nobody survives these opening scenes.
Okay.
So it created a nice little. Maybe there's something more to that.
See, I didn't get that, but Kitty watched this, and she's not a slasher fan. You know these things.
Yeah.
She watched Totally Killer as well, but she watched this,
which will be out long before we record.
Right. But same time frame for us in our time.
Mm-hmm.
But she is not she is not a fan at all of the slasher movies. So she she started off with not really into it, but by the end of it, she was so into it. She has also accused every single person we will see on screen as being the culprit.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. You and I never even try to guess who it is.
No.
It's not part of what makes the movies fun to me.
I thought you did try to figure it out.
No, usually. The only time I've ever been right, like even tried to think about it and ended up being right was, I guess I've thought about it could be you,
Oh, yeah.
I never really accuse anybody. The only time I ever accused anybody was in 4 because Jill disappears from the movie for too long.
Oh, it's where it wasn't so much accusatory as just the.
I noticed that she'd been gone. I think it's got to be her.
The script stuck out for you, so.
But even in that case, I was like, they wouldn't do that. That's crazy, and they did do it. It was crazy, and I loved it.
No, Scream 4, not Scream 5, which doesn't exist.
No, Scream 2022. Well, they call it Scream, and people got upset, as you do, because why are you just naming it Scream? And then they knew that was going to happen. They put in the movie that Scream 8, Stab 8, it was just called Stab, and everyone's bitching about it on the internet.
That's
I was like, that's pretty clever.
Right. This movie did a really good job, like part 1, of being so self-referential, but not being, I don't know, overdone or not working, however that you can say that.
If you break down the patterns of these movies, 1 is about slasher movies, 2 is about sequels, 3 claims to be about trilogies, but it's really just nothing.
Yes.
4 is about remakes. 5 is just about Scream. It's just about the first movie. That's what it's commenting on. That's what it's referencing. That's what it's about.
But it's also talking about how you move the franchise forward. Like, what do you do with the next generation?
Yeah, but it's a love letter specifically to pretty much my favorite movie of all time, which is why I've always had a hard time judging this movie, because they literally made a movie in 1996, they made a movie for 17-year-olds going to the theater that grew up on slasher movies. That was how old I was. That's the movie they made for me. I loved it. In 2022, 25 years later, they make a love letter to people who love that movie. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. What do you want me to say? You made a movie specifically for me.
Well, there's a lot of people like you, apparently, because these movies have done well.
6 did even better than this one. I think some of that's the Jenna Ortega effect.
The Jenna Ortega bump.
Yeah, the Jenna Ortega bump. She's a really good actor, and she's not quite the lead of this series, but I think it's inevitable.
That she's going to be in the third.
I think everyone will be back for the next one.
Okay.
But she's getting real busy, so they might have to.
That's what you claim, anyway. I don't.
Well, nobody's busy now. There's a strike.
Is that strike still happening?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought that they had finished it up. Or
the writers did.
Oh, just the writers.
So when we're recording this, the actor strike is still going on.
Hopefully. Did the writers finish on something good?
The writers are back.
Yeah, so they must.
Oh yeah, they got what they wanted.
Oh, okay.
See, the opening here with the trivia is just about the first movie. In this, it's
yeah. Okay, I see that now. I saw it then too, but thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah, the trivia is that the I can't edit those out this time.
Sorry, I've swallowed my water wrong.
The rules that Dewey lays out are not even the rules for the series. They're specifically the rules of the first movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's pointing to the killers in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Oh no, not the spoiler alert.
Are
not the killers.
The same two people. It's the boyfriend and the person who lives in Randy's house.
Right.
It's exactly the same thing, but it works so perfectly.
Now see, because we don't know when this will come out and Kitty's not going to listen or Kitty won't hear it in time, I'm thinking of showing her the next one. But do I point out to her that it is, like she knows this is a Scream 1 thing,
yeah,
but she hasn't seen Scream 2. So do I make her watch it first so she can see that similarity? Because Scream 2...
And you know my opinion on this is going to be...
Or Scream 6, rather.
You should watch 2 and then 4 and then 6 and pretend 3 doesn't exist the way this movie does.
Oh, yeah, what happened in 3? Oh, no, didn't she have a boyfriend?
She had a brother.
No. And didn't she? I mean, she was married and
she might
away.
be married to McDreamy because his name was Mark and her husband's name Mark.
Yeah,
but they leave it enough alone that they don't know if they'll ever get them back. They obviously didn't want to pay her to come back last movie, so
right. But I'll argue that, and I think I did it on the podcast that it worked. It really worked not having Neve Campbell in the next one.
I agree, and I think it's better for the future that she can pop back in whenever. Maybe the next one, maybe well after. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't pop up for every Halloween.
If they decide to pay her.
Well, I think they would have paid Jamie Lee Curtis for all of them.
I was talking about Neve Campbell specifically this time.
You got to go away to come back.
We say that we're back again every episode.
That is a thing I learned from a TV series from your favorite comedian and life model, Louis C.K.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that, but man, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You know me, sir.
You know, people in the neighborhood know Pete. He's always pulling a Louis C.K. in the parking lot. I mean, being really funny.
If you recall, I believe my backyard is still full of masturbating people.
Yep.
It was all white out there the other morning, not from the snowfall.
Yeah, how was? We'll get to that in the next podcast, which is already out. I forgot. No patter on this one. No patter.
We'll get back.
She's doing a real good job being scared.
Yeah?
These scenes have to be really difficult to film because you're alone on screen the entire time.
You know what? I think she does it, and I think whoever Billy Loomis's daughter is, whatever her name is, I don't think she's as good as the cast. Not in this one,
but in the second one, I think she's great.
Well, I got to watch the second one, or Scream 6, rather.
Yeah, I think Samantha, that was one of the really the only kind of complaint about this movie was that they didn't like the actress that played Samantha, didn't think she was that good. And I don't really disagree in this one. I think she's fine. But everyone else is really good.
Yeah, that's what it suffers from.
In 6, I think she might be the best one. Like, she nails the character hardcore in 6.
I got to watch 6. I forgot how fun this is. I had a lot of fun watching this with Kitty, especially because she had never seen it before.
These movies, except for 3, are all really fun.
And Kitty afterwards, she said, slasher movies aren't really scary, are they?
No.
They're not. Yeah. And I said, I guess not. They're not meant to be. There was, I think, one jump scare that got her somewhere in here, like one of the...
So I think this one coming right now is there. I think that's a pretty good one because of the timing of the question just being answered and there's no time. It breaks the pattern of the whole thing. It's a pretty violent opening, actually. It's actually a very violent movie.
This movie amped up the violence.
Yes.
Well, then again, it's been a while since I saw the original. Ooh, see, that
Yep.
is intense. That is a leg bone snapping through. Too much. Through the hand. Too quickly. That is a lot happening. You're right. And were the original Screams I don't remember them being this bloody, like this graphic, rather.
1 isn't very bloody. 2 is very bloody, but not as bloody as like 4 or 5 and 6. And then 3 is not very bloody.
3, again, a big blank spot in my mind.
It's a movie that doesn't understand the series, which is a series about understanding itself. That's what really makes the movie so hard to watch, is that these movies are always trying to find specifically the way to twist its own ideas. Like that opening in 4, which is like 2 fake openings before you get to the real one. Like, it's always trying to subvert expectations that it itself has created.
Yes.
And 3 doesn't do any of that.
3 decided to go in a completely different direction.
That's why it's so
What
frustrating.
direction that is, I don't know. And I'll never find out because I'm never going to watch it again.
But McDreamy.
I know, but
He's the one guy that was good in that movie.
he's been kind of everywhere again. What,
And
Jim?
Parker Posey. I forgot.
I am a Parker Posey stan.
There's a couple really good performances, but even the main cast, which is one of the reasons to watch these movies, the main 3, well, not anymore, but the main 3 that we had for 5 movies, they're just phoning it in 3. They don't even. Sydney doesn't want to be there. Nev Campbell doesn't want to be there. You know, Courtney Cox is actually going for it, so she's fine. But you know, even Dewey is just like, we're doing so many of these.
Oh, Courtney Cox is a big fan of these movies, isn't
Yeah.
she?
I mean, they didn't want to pay Nev Campbell a lot of money to come back, but Courtney Cox came back. I don't think they were paying her, like, doubling her salary.
Has she ever said anything or talked about it?
I think she's just really excited to have something that's not Friends that is also something she could be known for.
Oh, okay. Good for her. And she has Cougar Town. Don't forget Cougar Town.
Who could forget Cougar Town?
Not me. Oh, Jack Quaid.
Did I ever tell you I watched every episode of Cougar Town?
Did you? So
Yeah.
did I. More than once.
I did, and it's in that Superstore category of I know I laughed once, but I don't remember where, and I'm not going back to find out.
I laughed a lot in the beginning. Once people started leaving the show.
Did you like the dumb dad? Is that what you like?
Yes, I liked that.
I always know which character.
I liked Dan Bird as the son. I liked Courtney Cox. I like what's her face from the Drew Carey show, and also Scrubs.
Oh, Kristen Miller.
Yes, I like her. I had a crush on her when I was a lad. Yeah, see, I don't know. Is it her eyebrows? This is Loomis's daughter. What is her name?
I can never tell what specific fixation you're going to have for why you don't like someone. She doesn't have a southern accent, so we can rule that one out.
But it's just the acting, I guess.
I know you well enough to assume it's not because she's Latino.
No, she's Latino?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought she was crazy. She is not crazy? Yes, she's
She's crazy.
Yeah. So I love Richie as a character in this movie. I don't know when, and I know you do too.
Richie's maybe my favorite character, except for Dewey in the entire series.
Right. And here's the thing too. When Dewey meets his untimely end, spoiler alert here, I was kind of okay because I had a new Dewey and it was Richie. When I was watching this, knowing how much you like Richie and I like Richie, I was wondering if Kitty, where is Kitty going to fall? Will she like him? What is her opinion going to be? I will try to pinpoint the moment she said something, he said something somewhere in here, and she's like, I am a Richie fan. I like this guy.
It's a new twist on hiding the killer because they made him so likable that I'd refuse to believe he could be the killer.
Right.
Everyone else in this movie that I've seen talk about it, this was the one where people pretty much were able to guess who the killers were, except for me because I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming at all, especially because Richie had lulled me in.
That's all I cared about at this point was that Richie was safe.
Right. I had that same exact thing going on.
I turned to you after he yells out when he gets shot by Sydney in the closet.
Right.
And she's like, I'm not coming out, you're shooting everything. And then Ghostface pops out of the closet and he goes, holy shit, it's Ghostface. That's when I turned to you and I said, man, I hope he lives. And then 20 seconds later, he stabs Samantha and you find out he's a killer. And I just turned to you and I went, oh.
I went through the exact same trajectory of emotions as you did in that 20 seconds.
We saw this movie in the same theater that we saw the original in 25 and a half years earlier.
That's right, we did. Mm-hmm. But they were much fancier seats this time.
That's true.
So Kitty says this seems like such a late 90s cheeseball way of filming the movie.
Because they're doing Scream.
Right. And then does it change by the end? Because I feel like it's a different movie by the end of it.
No, because they're recreating the third act of Scream in the same house. Scream 6 feels filmed different.
Okay.
But Scream 5, it's all with purpose. This is the scene by the waterfall, with the fountain.
Yep.
They're doing the pattern.
Jesus Christ, that's the fountain from part 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put them at the fountain, to be completely honest with you.
Were they playing Red Right Hand right now too?
No, they play that when they kill the guy they just saw in the parking lot.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is true. I like hearing the Nick Cave song is in a bunch of these movies.
Everyone but 4, which again was the remake, which is why they made these weird choices that I kind of respect, to not do anything with the characters in the movie itself, the style, to make it a remake.
Right. Sorry. It was a moment in a car, just like the moment that's happening right now with Jack Quaid here, that Kitty said, "Oh, I like Richie."
It was when he said, "Sounds like Halloween."
Maybe it was, but I thought
that's when I fell in love.
I don't know when I fell in love. Because this is the second time I watched it, and the moment he comes on screen, all the old feelings come rushing back in. So it's hard to judge it objectively.
What's funny is that we didn't bring anything. I never saw The Boys. Did you watch The Boys?
I saw the first season.
Okay, so we didn't carry any kind of Jack Quaid love into the movie.
I did not know he was in The Boys, and I think I saw it before I saw this movie.
I'd never seen him in anything before I saw this movie. I haven't seen anything since, but I loved him in this.
And I've heard him on Comedy Bang Bang at the podcast, and he was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Just a funny guy in general. There's her, just not Jenny Ortega-ing it up. Her name's Jenny now.
No.
Yep. I've decided.
It is decided.
It has been decided.
Somebody should let her know.
Okay. I will, if I ever see her. What's that show she's in? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I'll watch that one and call her Jenny. Then I'll know she's made it when I watch that show. Ooh.
There's ghosts in the attic.
Bats in the belfry. Kitty could not get over frosted tips.
Dynamite's in the belfry. That's a line from a Bruce Springsteen song.
I do not know very many Bruce Springsteen songs.
That is Rosalita, Come On Tonight.
You know that one that he sings at Christmas? They always play it at Christmas on all the radio stations and at the mall and such?
Yep.
That's the one I know.
Yeah, his version of All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yep, that's the one.
That's
it's
the
like
one.
18 minutes long.
He sounds real different in that one.
There's a lot of clapping. Jenny Ortega's back.
I like the twins, too.
I love the twins. The rest are all cannon fodder.
Or the killers.
Yep. Kitty's going around the room right now accusing each of them as their faces pop on camera.
Well, 2 of them, she'd been right.
Yep. She was. Technically, she wasn't wrong.
No, she was wrong the other times.
Not on those 2.
Percentage-wise, she was wrong.
Percentages. That's if you think I can count.
Did she blame him for being the killer because of his frosted tips?
Well, yeah. Then she weirdly got on his side really quickly and then was really unhappy in a couple of scenes.
I like Chad.
Which one's Chad?
The twin.
The jock twin?
Yeah.
Okay. I like him too.
He's my favorite part of 6.
I got to watch 6 again, but he was up there. I like all the characters. We said that, I think, about part 6 is how much you like the characters.
Yeah.
And I like them here. I think they do a good job of setting them up by the end of this movie too. I was into those twins.
They do, but the problem is that Richie outshines them all.
Well, yeah, he does. So it's nice, I guess, that they get to go along for the sequel.
Yes, without Richie in there.
Stealing the spotlight.
They really shone without Richie blocking their son. It's true, though. I think they're all better in 6. Chad is so good in 6 because he's got the vulnerability here, but the added part of having been through this hell and being terrified of it happening again, but also having to be the one who stands up and tries to protect the people he cares about. It's such a good character in 6. And I was really upset when I thought he died. I was really happy when he didn't, which they did with Dewey again in 2.
Oh, yeah, because that's right. I remember watching 2 in the theater, and you think Dewey's going to be gone.
Am I the only person in the entire world who ever, when they watched 1, thought it could be Dewey?
No, I thought it could be Dewey, too. Because remember, he was always a half a step late to everything?
He's wearing those police issue shoes that they make a point to show you the shoes that the sheriff is wearing. And they're in a uniform. So I always thought it would be a clever thing because you see Ghostface shoes, they're the same shoes.
I never noticed that.
They do this in 2, to also Cotton Weary's wearing the same shoes.
I never noticed that.
But I thought they never show you Dewey shoes, but since he's wearing the same uniform, it stands to reason
that they would be
wearing the same shoes. And I thought that was and I'm sitting there thinking, when he pops up and he's like, oh, let's go for a walk. I'm like, this guy's got to be the killer. I was the only person I thought in the world that watched 1 and thought it was him.
You and the shoes, like, I would not notice shoes. You remember Jojo Rabbit?
I know.
Remember those shoes?
Those are the most famous shoes. You don't
Kitty
remember.
sitting there talking about shoes, and then it took me so long for
Second
that.
only to when we watch Wizard of Oz and you don't get the whole shoe thing because you didn't see it.
There's a shoe thing in Wizard of Oz?
This is Kyle Gallner, who's in Smile and a lot of horror movies.
This guy here?
Yeah.
What was his connection now?
He is Stu Macher's nephew.
Oh, okay. So Stu Macher had enough. That's right. So why is he getting killed? Just a callback to the murders? I don't understand.
Well,
that.
this would have to be Amber.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, what is the significance to part one as we're doing the homage to part one here by bringing in Stu Macher's?
Narratively, he's killed for reasons I don't know.
I guess that's part of two, what I'm trying to figure out.
But on the bigger picture, he's killed because they want to make the connection that everybody who's been killed or attacked is connected to the original.
Is a direct
story.
tie into the original.
Yeah. Narratively, it would have to just be like Amber just wants to kill him
Because he's a douche.
because he's a douche.
And she doesn't like him.
And we want to hear Red Right Hand play on the radio.
But also no, because I guess narratively too, they were tying him in, right? They were bringing in you've got Billy Loomis's daughter.
Yeah,
got
that's
Stu
what I mean.
Macher's. Yeah. So they knew that too, Richie and Amber anyway.
This is a good kill. Quickest one in film in
Yep.
the series.
That
Makes you wonder how he struggles so often with the other people.
just one quick knife jab in the neck.
This is obviously the whole movie's point is to talk about the original movie. This is a much better looking movie than the original movie. There's some really great cinematography going on, and the first one is I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. It's it's very 90s and kind of ugly.
90s in style.
Yeah, and it's kind of an ugly movie. And I think 2 is a really good looking movie, and then 3 is trash.
I
love Wes Craven. He's made a lot of movies.
Spit on 3.
He made a lot of movies that I really love. I don't think he ever really had an eye for the visual part of it as much as he did just telling interesting stories.
In all of his movies?
They've never struck me as like how John Carpenter movies can look really interesting and gorgeous, and Romero movies can do that, look gritty and stuff. And then I watch the Wes Craven ones, and they just are like, he blocks them and he shoots them.
That is true. You look at
There he
there's
is.
Billy. There's good old Billy. What did they de-age Skeet Ulrich? Is
Yes.
it Ulrich or Ulrich?
Ulrich.
Ulrich. I saw him in the theater.
You had a teacher named Ulrich, spelled the same.
I thought it was Ulrich.
Oh boy, well you had to go to school, I guess, to know
Yeah,
that.
all right. So it's all right. Billy Loomis, Skeet Ulrich in Ride with the Devil, starring Jewel.
Yeah,
I saw that in the theater. It never got an actual release.
he was also in As Good as It Gets.
I don't remember that movie. That had Greg Kinnear, correct?
Yes.
All right.
This is their big swing in this movie to take it out of the realm of just the normal Scream thing. The idea that she's seeing the visions of Billy. Now, we've talked about this before. He's not a ghost.
People think he was a ghost?
He's not a ghost. There's a reason you only ever see him in reflections of, and she's looking at them.
But I'm just saying people thought he was a ghost.
We've talked about this a bunch of times on this fucking podcast, Pete.
I don't remember.
We talk about this on this podcast. People think she's a ghost, and it's like, oh, is he a good guy now? He's helping Sydney, and it's like he's her dark side reflection that she sees. That's what it is. They try to make it clear by only putting him in reflection.
That. I just didn't understand that people thought that it was anything different.
We've joked several times about having ghost battles with the survivors because people think he's a ghost.
Ooh,
who's influencing the story in some way. He's not there.
A ghost battle does sound good, though.
I don't know how you don't remember things we talked about on this show.
Like a goldfish. 6-second memory, and then I forget everything I knew. What are we watching? Who's this?
This cop sucks. Later, he just abandons his post.
Yes, he does. I like how few people, and Kitty keeps pointing out too, is the movie, how this hospital is just deserted.
Oh, you want a deserted hospital? You watch Scream 4.
I don't remember the
The
deserted
final
hospital.
part of Scream 4 when Jill tries to kill Sydney in the hospital, and there's just nobody in this hospital.
That's how this movie is.
Halloween 2 is the famous hospital movie, and it very much empty too, but it really works for that movie.
Okay.
Here they accuse each other of being the killers, and they're both correct.
Ooh, I didn't catch that when I was watching it the first time. Now, was the new sheriff, was she in any of the other movies?
She was in 4.
As a deputy, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
She was a deputy in 4 who is in love with Dewey, who's married to Gail, and Dewey keeps her at arm's length about it and Gail knows it, and she's like not threatened by her at all. But what makes it fun is when they get to the later scene where they're all meeting together and Dewey's there, her son clearly has a hatred for Dewey, and it makes complete sense.
Frosted Tips.
Without ever mentioning why, it makes complete sense because she has an unrequited love for Dewey.
Oh man, I did not catch that, but I'm going to be paying attention now as we watch.
They only have one interaction, but it is hostile, and he's accusing him of being a killer, and then he gets to go off on how miserable his life is. And I'm like, this is a really earned thing if you watch 4.
And you remembered.
Yes.
Unlike me with my goldfish brain.
Yes. I think that Samantha is actually good in this movie, except for this scene, and it's the most important scene. I think it's the reason that the character doesn't land as well in this one as it does in the next one, because she doesn't have to do this scene.
This is the explanation of why she left.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll
agree.
Most important scene she has to do in the movie. It's clearly the one she had to read with, you'd think, when she got the role, and she doesn't land it right.
She does. And I think Ortega there does
she's great.
land it. Yeah, she landed. Kitty thought the whole scene was just kind of meh.
No, I think Jenna Ortega nails it perfectly, but
which just makes her performance look a little bit like it was probably fine if she was good in 6, right? Like you like her in 6. You're 100% right. It just doesn't
what it
land.
Is that by the end of this movie, Samantha's, when she kills Richie, which I'll never forgive her for, but she looks so badass doing it. And in 6, she's able to carry over that like strength that she finds from being a bit crazy.
Yep.
And here, where she's trying to suppress it, it doesn't make the character very interesting.
She does not play struggling with mental health well, but
No.
she plays crazy. Awesome.
She does in the moment she's seeing Billy, but the rest of the movie, it's like she just doesn't. There's not. I don't know what it is. There's not. It's not what it is in 6, where she's kind of accepted that she's
right. She doesn't act well when she's trying. She doesn't get a grasp on the nuances of struggling with mental illness.
I mean, to be fair, she's medicated.
Is she?
Yeah, she's been taking the medication.
Is she not taking it in part 6?
No, she is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she is.
But man, she's kind of crazy still. Isn't she still talking to her dad in part 6?
She does see him in part 6 too, but they put him more in shadow because, like I said, the budget for the de-aging probably wasn't as strong. But again, only in reflections of things, which should be the clue that people have that Billy's not walking around as a force ghost trying to tell people where things are and what to do. It's amazing how simple things people miss.
The mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay, well, of mirrors, really quickly, Bloody Mary, I guess that's going around the elementary school. The look in the mirror and say her name 3 times and she appears.
Who?
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody. Sam was in the bathroom supposed to be brushing his teeth the other night. My 8-year-old son, he's got the lights off. He's just holding his toothbrush in his hand. He looks in the mirror. He's like, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And he's just staring at the mirror like daring something to happen. And nothing did. He looked disappointed.
Candyman.
He doesn't, what is that, 5 times?
That's 5 times. They really make you work for that one.
Man, how do you, all right, I haven't seen Candyman, and I was a kid when I saw the original.
I really like the original, and I really like the remake.
Well,
2 and 3 are not worth watching.
I didn't even know they had 3. Oh, they're still talking?
See, her
Jeez
reactions are
Louise.
great. This is I don't know. She just doesn't carry the scene. But again, I forgive her because in 6, I think she's awesome. I think she's fantastic in 6. And she really grows into the role.
And you're right, I like her by the end of this movie. I like most of the characters. The acting in this is really good.
I agree. And obviously in regular slasher movies you don't get that, but Scream's a special animal where you can attract really talented. I believe she was coming off of In the Heights, the Lin-Manuel Miranda movie. But I think she was a star of that one, so she probably sings real good too. I think the biggest problem her character has in this movie is that they make that she's Billy's daughter her most interesting trait, and that's a hard thing to do. What are you acting with then? It's not even about her. You're the lead, and your most interesting thing is someone else.
Everything she's done is because of who her father is.
Yes.
She left her family creating this conflict. 'Cause it's all because of,
Which is probably why she becomes more interesting in the next one, because at the end of this movie, she takes control of her own life for the first time, in a dangerous way.
But at least it's her being interesting now.
Richie.
Good old Richie. Just trying to be helpful.
It is an interesting concept to have Billy's daughter running around. I really liked it.
And for a while here, I think it works that you think maybe she's the one who's killing people.
Yeah, I think it does work.
But I think it works like story-wise, like you could be, but I never really bought it, and I wasn't until Kitty watched it.
But they're leaving it open-ended still. Every movie kind of gives you that this could happen at some point.
Oh, yeah, that it could happen. But I mean, in this movie in particular, it never really hit, but I could see that she could be considered. And I thought they were kind of like teasing that. But the opening scene, it clearly couldn't be her because she wasn't anywhere near
Can't
her
be
sister.
Richie either.
Right, because there's Amber. But I forgot the goddamn two killer thing.
How do you forget that?
I don't know. Because I just assumed that there was one person and it was going to be one person.
The movie opens by reminding you it was two people.
Maybe then I thought it
one.
was two people in the first. I don't remember how it was the first time I watched it.
I caught on pretty quick in this movie that everything that happened in the first one was going to happen again.
I obviously did not.
He's just so likable.
Right.
I know what he's done, and I still think I can change him.
Even though he's dead?
Now, this is one of those aspects of movies that you have to kind of either decide you don't care or just forgive it. He's a psychopath, but boy, he holds it together real good every moment of this movie until he's allowed to show he's a psychopath, which is one of those movie things where how would a person that's this crazy hide it this well?
How was Timothy Oliphant in part 2?
He's not in the movie. I keep telling you that. He's in 2 scenes and you don't see him again.
So would you say he handled it pretty well?
And he's kind of off in that movie,
That's
too.
what I was going for. I kind of remember him being off and a little bit weird.
Well, I mean, Billy doesn't hide it at all. That's why his fake death is such a great moment in the movie, because you don't know what to even believe. Stu's not hiding, and they're not hiding it at all.
That's true. They don't.
No. You just accept it because kids are weird.
Kids are weird.
And because you've seen enough slasher movies or whodunits, they're trying to make me think it's you. And you kind of just, like, that's the only thing Billy has on his side is that it's too obvious it's Billy.
That's true.
But it works. It works perfectly.
It worked that time.
So this one, they're both pretending. Now, Amber's a little off. So, like, I actually think that one is easier to see. But Richie's, look at his face. As he's seeing a person that he's obsessed with. But you don't notice that the first time.
Nope.
Look at him.
He is trying to get himself under control. He's breathing heavily.
So
his eyes are wide.
Yeah, he's doing great background acting. There's a few times in the hospital this happens too. There's a few times. Look at his face when he thinks Amber just got killed by Dewey in the hospital, and you just see his face like.
Well, remind me.
I
of
will.
That part. Okay.
So he's doing it in the background, which I really like. But then how is he holding it together this well when you're this crazy?
So now he's in the house. He's still looking at me. He's awestruck.
Yep. For a person he claims to have never seen before until you just watched it in the hospital. Like
this day movie a few scenes ago.
2 days ago, 1 day ago.
Wow. You know, this is just making my love for Richie become even deeper. And Jack Quaid himself, so when he dies later, I'm going to be sad.
I know, I get sad every time.
Even more sad.
I think this is the best version of Dewey we ever got in these movies, even though I know one is the iconic one. I think this is an earned, grizzled veteran.
Jumping back to him possibly being the killer. I remember the scene for me after I was already thinking it could be him. I think he was talking to his sister, whoever that was. Tatum, when they had the killer on the phone.
Tatum's ashes are over on the counter over there.
No shit.
Yep.
You pay attention to a lot of things in the background. Wow.
He's talking to Tatum in the first one.
Yeah. Oh, and then she's banging on the door for him to come out because they got the killer on the phone.
Yes.
And he doesn't open the door until after they hang up, and it's played for laughs.
That's why I always thought it could be. No, that is, if you ever watch Scary Movie, that is what they do.
I don't.
They have Deputy Doofy. Deputy Doofy pulls a usual suspects and stops being mentally handicapped and turns out to be the killer. Because I think that they saw it like I did. Like, Dewey would have been a really good killer in the first one.
Yep. But this is the best version of Dewey.
I think it's the most earned, grizzled veteran who's just seen the shit 4 times, and he's just like, I can't do this anymore. And then he's going to do it because he's a good person.
Most earned in all of horror?
Oh, how many characters do you get to see 5 times?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think about now.
Like Laurie Strode, which she did a lot of interesting things. I really liked her in H2O.
But there's so many different versions and so many different.
Yeah, my favorite is the H2O version.
Okay.
Because she's an alcoholic who is terrified still and had to change her name and lose her life. I really enjoyed that version of the character, and she's great in it.
I liked it in the Danny McBride one.
So did I.
I never saw part 2 or 3 of that trilogy, though.
Part 2, she's marginalized in the hospital, which they've done to her a few times now. And then in 3, I think that she's another really interesting version of the character, but she's also not the star of the movie.
And again, too, that's just like different versions of it. This is one version of one guy. Like
Yes,
well, not one verb, it's the same character.
And watching him go from, and this is the thing that Laurie Strode doesn't have, he was such a comic relief guy in the beginning, and then you watch him mature over the course of these movies, and then you get to this, and like this is a hard life for a guy that was just trying to do good.
There was Wesley in the Buffy, right?
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer had him be a watcher who turned into, he went from comedic relief. But that's a TV show, and it was
You get a lot more hours to do
5
it.
seasons or something to work with.
Yeah, he would have been in 5 seasons of Angel and 1 of Buffy. So
Right, so that's a lot of time to develop a character. And again, TV works differently too. So I'm just moving. There's Nev Campbell.
What's cool is that he's getting to play this over 25 years, whereas the Alexis Denisof played Wesley for 5.5 actual years. This is 5 times as long, so you just are growing and aging. But I remember when they made Scream 4, they really took away all of Dewey's oafishness. That's not even the word I want. He wasn't. He was just like a weathered version, like an older version.
Oh, and the jokes were played, I remember, with Courtney Cox. It was like, oh, we're the out-of-touch people now.
Yeah.
We're not the young, hip ones.
He wasn't doing the...
It's meta. Everything's meta.
He wasn't dumb anymore.
But he was out of touch because he was old. But he was a grown-up.
I thought it was an interesting idea because it's 11 years since you've seen the character, and that's not the character people want. People want Dewey to be...
But it's who the character is.
It's who he would be.
Right.
And they did that again here. So now it's been another 11 years since 4, and they're like, no, he's broken. And it's like, that's watching that character go from the boyishly good-looking
comedic relief
to a broken man. It's like that you don't get that in any movie.
I know. Well, now I'm going to be thinking about that this whole time because I feel like there was some, you know what? Bill and Ted Face the Music.
They were the same. so really, over the course of these movies, Sidney gets stronger, Dewey gets weaker, and Gale stays exactly the same.
Good old, constant, reliable Gale Weathers.
Every movie starts with her in the same place.
And she never learned. They reference that in this one, too.
Yeah, well, when you get to 6, they reference it big time because at the end of this movie, she seems to have finally had come to a place where she's like, I'm not going to write about these assholes. I'm going to write about Dewey. To get the 6th one, and she wrote the book anyway.
Of course she did.
And it wasn't a hit.
I like that. I never thought about it. You're right. She's always the straight constant. There is no arc for her.
Nope.
Her arc is, I'm Courtney Cox, and I'm going to make a profit off of this. Does she do it just because she wants to be famous? What is her drive? Yeah.
Well, I think everything before Dewey dies is just, that's what she wants to be famous and do a drive. But after Dewey dies, like, what else does she even have?
But I don't doubt that she genuinely cares about these people, too.
No, I'm not. She's not a bad person.
She's a very conflicted individual, Gale Weathers. And I don't think she gets enough credit for that.
Well, what happens in their marriage isn't her fault. It's Dewey's fault. He takes full responsibility for it in this movie. Because she has this great opportunity.
Right, to go to
yeah, he can't do it.
He couldn't stay away from his small town.
He just couldn't make it in the big city doing nothing. And he didn't have to do anything. She had all the money.
Right.
He's just like, I don't want to do this. So he came back here and he's just broken.
You know, that's that trauma from his early adulthood. Because if someone was going to pay me to do nothing, I would fit into that pretty easily.
So Sidney gets Dewey killed here. Because she tells him, those people are lucky to have you to protect them. And he's like,
she sends him back on the trajectory of the hero. And
here you get the Dewey theme. Which they play for Gale once in the 6th movie. That was nice. Nice moment.
Oh, I didn't notice.
They play in the background when she's talking about Dewey.
Oh, I probably did notice. They were that obvious with it. If they were having a conversation about Dewey, I might have noticed.
Well, she's not overtly talking about Dewey. She's talking about how you move on from tragedies.
That's tough then. It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Randy Meeks, to show us our connection in case is this our first knowledge that it's?
Yes.
Okay. So now we got another legacy people here, bringing in the next gen.
So this is Randy's sister that we met in Scream 3.
I don't remember Scream 3, so she was there.
She has to deliver the videotape that he made.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, I do remember that scene. Oh, Dewey.
So they got everybody that they kind of wanted to come back. She came back for this one little cameo.
Look at that. They got a little shrine for him. That's weird that she can't move on either. All of these people, horribly, horribly traumatized.
It's an airplane.
Where? In my house or in the movie? Oh, yeah, there's no sound. We've muted this. I think I've answered my own question.
They have an on-set photo.
Billy Loomis.
An on-set photo of Billy Loomis.
From Scream?
From Scream.
But they're calling it Stab?
No, they're just, this is the picture we have of Billy Loomis, clearly filmed on set. Just couldn't get any candid photos of him from when he was younger. He had to have them. He's in this movie. It's not like you couldn't have asked him.
No, that's not how it works.
See, he's immediately accusing him, and he's like, yeah, your life left you, you're drunk.
Yeah, look at that. He's angry. He's angry for his mom.
Yes. I don't even know that he knows why he's angry at him.
He just knows that his mom doesn't like him.
Yes. Or does. And maybe that's what maybe he doesn't know anything other than, like, his mom hurts.
That's what I'm thinking. No, he knows that it's rejected. Right. On some level, I don't think he knows the details.
Why?
But his mom probably speaks poorly of him.
No, I don't think she does.
I think she does.
I don't think she does. I think his mom's a very lonely person and who speaks very highly of him, and he's put together. That
I feel like they did it in this movie.
You've seen Deputy Judy. She doesn't say anything bad about anybody except Samantha.
I thought she said something bad about Dewey.
No, she's an ultra-positive person.
Kitty never cared for Chad's girlfriend here.
No, she's not. She's the least important of the group. This is where, when she started explaining the rules of this one, not the rules, but what it is.
The other twin.
I wasn't on board. By the time she finished, I was like, she's 100% correct with this. What I didn't know what a requel was at the time. It's the first time I'd heard the word. And then when she explains it, I'm like, and uses all the examples, I'm like, that's 100% what we're in right now. In fact, this movie they're getting closer and closer to the moment. Because Scream 4 came out about remakes in 2011. Remakes started in 2003. So we had already 8 years of remakes by the time we got to them commenting on it.
Yeah, you're right.
This came out, Halloween 2018 came out. This came out 2022. But we didn't even see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Legacy requel, whatever, came out the year after this, or later this year. And I remember watching it and going, oh my God, she destroyed this movie preemptively by explaining it perfectly. And they really just went and, they didn't know they were going to do that. But when you watch the movie, it's like you can't watch it because of this scene.
Okay. Because, Scream 1 was doing what...
slasher movie.
Yeah, they were doing, but they were explaining the rules of what had come before.
Yeah.
And that was these, the genre shift for how these movies were made, like the new gimmick.
Yeah, and this one is explaining it as it's happening.
As it's happening, right. Because the sequel came out, like you said, 8 years then.
Yeah.
So that was doing the same thing. And this one was ahead of the curve.
It's right in the middle of it. It saw Halloween 2018 and said, this is going to be a big thing. Although even the Star Wars movies, which is the joke she's making at Rian Johnson's expense. She said, Stab 8's the one they all hate. It's the one that motivates these two killers to go and give them new ideas. They said 8, that's the one the Knives Out guy directed, and everybody hates it. Which is, what would Star Wars 8 be? The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Rian Johnson was said to have thought the joke was hilarious.
Good for Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
He got done dirty.
He did. I think it's a good movie. In a series that has a lot of bad movies. I don't know why that's the one everybody hates. But I do know. And it's all for reasons I don't respect.
That goddamn casino scene.
That's not why they don't like it.
That's why I don't like it.
No, they explain why they don't like it. Because, it's because Ray, you can't have a powerful woman who's not, it's like that's, who doesn't like that movie.
Yeah.
You know exactly who doesn't like that movie. They all pay for Twitter. Dewey.
I know. I was thinking this when she gives their
look, they're on the couch together. My two favorite Deweys.
When they're on the, oh man, it's not going to last.
And I guess Chad's the Dewey now, because even though he doesn't have that bumbling personality, he survives twice on stretchers the way the Dewey did.
No, he is. It's a different personality, because he isn't, like you said. He's not just, he's got, even in this one, you show him stepping up for his friends and protecting them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Dewey did, too.
Mindy's the Randy, clearly. She just had the Randy scene.
No, imagine. Yeah, she is. Imagine that there's a Richie ghost in the sixth movie. He just pops up.
Well,
or seventh movie.
Richie does appear in the sixth movie.
Right. But I mean, out in Richie Ghost.
They're not ghosts.
They're ghosts now. I've changed my mind. I'm with those people on the internet.
I feel like we ended up in this place once before.
We probably did.
Now, this scene I think is great because we don't really know a lot about Wes, really, except that he likes Tara. That's kind of his only thing. And then
Wes is the frosted hair tip kid.
Yes.
I never learned his name.
But he's such a good kid. He's out there setting the table for dinner.
Oh, I know.
And it's like he doesn't even know his mother's been murdered. And it's like, the scene's very good for making you care about Wes.
It does. I feel like the Scream 20, whatever this one is, and the 6 they do a really good job of making you care about the characters. Just in this little 5-minute less scene where you see them doing little.
It's like a mini movie.
Like her listening to the message and getting like, oh, I'm getting her now. But his son, or her son rather, you're right.
She was in 4. She was a good red herring.
I kind of remember that.
She was a little creepy and a little off. She was always just a second behind where she should be, but she was always there.
That kind of obsessive, stalkery vibe thing going on.
It was a good one. Don't know what her motive would have been, but you never know what these things. Debbie Salt was Mrs. Loomis. You didn't know. Billy's mother. You know who that is? Wes's mother.
Well, like I said, that's why I'm wondering if I make Kitty watch part 2 before we watch part 6 to show it's the family again.
I don't know if she'd want to jump back to meet all those characters.
Probably not. I'll just show her part 6 and then tell her that it's just like part 2 with Timothy Oliphant.
I do think 2 is pretty good. Because, I think 1's a masterpiece. And
1?
This is probably my
you
second
like part
favorite.
1?
Yeah, this is probably my second favorite of the Scream movies, honestly. And then maybe it's 4. 4 and this one are right there.
I don't like 4 as much.
I love 4. It's Jill. I love Jill. She's maybe my favorite killer in the entire series.
All right. I really like. I got to watch 6 again though.
I like 6 a lot. I like all of them but 3. There's 5.
That's really where
great
it comes
movies.
down to.
I think there's 1 masterpiece, 4 great movies, and then a steaming pile of shit.
Whatever 3 just pretends it is.
I don't know. I don't know how they misstepped that big with Wes Craven on board. I don't know how they got that far off track.
Was he directing 3?
Yeah, he directed 1 through 4.
Jesus Christ. He had nothing to do with he had nothing to do with the stories in any of them.
No, but Kevin Williamson wrote 1, 2, and 4. He did the story treatment for 3, but someone else wrote it.
What? All right. I don't care.
This and 6 were written by 2 different people who really got the series and wanted to do interesting things with it, especially by 6. And then it's directed by the people that made Ready or Not.
Okay.
Who I think have more visual style than Wes Craven does. Again, I don't mean to offend Wes Craven fans. I love Wes Craven movies, but they're not visually interesting.
I get 100% what you're saying. It doesn't have that like cinematic,
they just don't.
pretty.
And like John Carpenter movies aren't exactly cinematic pretty either, but he has a unique style that like really works for the stories he's telling. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Wes Craven has that.
Because some of his stories, the pacing is slow. Like you never saw a thing, but that first 40 minutes, it is slow. But he sets up. You are in a base in the Antarctic, and it's not Wes Anderson. Not Wes Anderson. He's got a style of his own too.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was interesting at first.
His style is high school play.
It was interesting at first, but just like who were we talking about the other day? Johnny Depp's friend,
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. Johnny Depp.
I learned that on a Knick-Knack Fact.
I know. No. Tim Burton.
Yes.
Like he's a guy who got stuck in a certain style.
Yes, and when you get to see it, like in Edward Scissorhands, where he also has. This is the thing about Edward Scissorhands. Don't you find his vision?
The one starring Nick Cage's friend Johnny Depp.
Yes. Don't you find Tim Burton's vision of the suburbs more visually interesting than his weird, everything's Nightmare Before Christmas?
I don't know. I just watched The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's Halloween.
But that's every style he has in every movie.
But yeah, because that, like Nightmare Before Christmas, it was still, he wasn't there yet where it was every movie he ever makes. So yes. I've got the nostalgia thing going.
Okay, but I'm just saying that style.
Yeah.
Take that style and
it is more interesting, the suburbs.
It's more interesting to put the freak in the suburbs than it is to make the whole thing out of the black box.
Right.
Which is what Sleepy Hollow is.
Big Fish that's why I think I like Big Fish, because it's got a bit of that.
Never saw Big Fish, but you know that Ed Wood is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yep.
And it makes total sense to me.
Also starring Nicolas Cage's friend.
That's right. It makes total sense to me that is the movie that is the best one he'll ever make, because it's about a misunderstood artist, and he's like, that's what I feel like, and he really got it. He got that material in a level that I don't think he's ever connected to any of the things, even though such things are such his pure vision. I don't think it's as interesting.
And it was an early collaboration between Burton and Depp.
They did Edward Scissorhands, and then they did that one, I think.
Yep, and it hadn't become, they weren't just, this is just what we do now, and we do this over and over and over again.
Yeah. They're a real De Niro Scorsese team.
I don't like, everyone likes Scorsese. I don't get it. What are his movies?
Raging Bull is great.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is great.
I tried watching Goodfellas like a couple of years ago. It's
great.
Maybe it is, but I guess I wasn't in the mood to watch it because it was slow.
I like it a lot. I like The Irishman too, because it did
I don't think I like gangster movies.
It did the Unforgiven Logan thing of somebody who made their name on this genre, looking at it and saying, it's not what I made it out to be. It's not. I really think that's an interesting way to end those movies. Scorsese's not my favorite either, but he makes great movies, but they're not always for me. That's the best way I could say it. Like, he doesn't make shit. He makes great movies.
I don't know. Did he do Gangs in New York?
Yes.
I think that might have been shit.
Yeah. Well, he made The Departed. I know what you think about that.
God, that is shit. That's why I don't like Scorsese.
Because of the rat at the end.
And I like things being hammered over my head multiple times, and that was too much. A bridge too far.
This scene, you get to see multiple times where he opens doors and you get to see behind them. It's pretty great.
I love it.
He's setting the table for his mom because she's going to get dinner.
As we were talking about Scorsese, I'm sitting here watching him set the dishes, and you've made me have feels for him.
I'm 44 years old. I've never set the table in my life.
I don't think I know how to set a table.
I don't either. Anything I'm eating, if I'm eating, it's coming out of the microwave. It's already on a plate.
You put things in the microwave?
Or I went to somewhere and I'm just going to eat it right out of the bag. That's how things work.
Exactly. It's like its own little garbage can.
But he's cleaning up. He's going to refill those ice trays. He's the best person in the world.
Well, he's clearly too innocent. I'm assuming he's the virgin, so he's got to die.
And in his last moments, you see that he listens to his mother because the door's ajar and she's outside there dead, and you think he's going to open it and see and then get killed. But instead, he knows, hey, lock that door. So he just locks it and then gives himself a little, that's right, because he listens.
Oh, man, now I'm going to be paying attention.
Because you think he's going to open the door here.
Right.
But his mother would say, don't open that door, lock the door and keep yourself safe. So that's what he does. And he's very proud of himself because he listens to his mother. So I feel it's weird they made him look like the douche, and he's the exact opposite of that.
No, he is just the nicest, most friendly, helpful, lonely kid there. Well, he's not lonely. He's got all his friends, too.
He takes shit from his friends for how much he listens to his mother, but he doesn't stop listening.
Doesn't help him, though. Does that say something?
Look at his face here. He's going to be like, yeah, good. Yeah, all right.
Yep, shit. You did the mental checklist there. You're right.
Yep. So close to the taser.
Oh, man, I got hit by a taser once.
I got pepper sprayed once on purpose.
I was hit by a taser once. I'd like to. Yeah,
I guess it's always on purpose.
Let me qualify that, though. I tasered myself accidentally. That's
a good one.
Yep. Kitty claims that is, it's in the side of his neck. That wouldn't kill him.
My friend had pepper spray, and I was like really drunk. I was like, I'll try it. And she obliged. It was, Pete, horrible.
I can imagine. I haven't done that. I was like under 11, and my grandma had a taser, and I did it, and fuck.
It was horrible.
I've never pepper sprayed myself.
Couldn't open your eyes for a long time.
Everything I hear, which is, I will say, it annoys me in movies when people get pepper sprayed, and then they like start chasing them again. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you will not be seeing for a while.
That is correct. So I can attest to that as a fact. That is correct.
I can't personally, but I knows.
I'm so glad I did it, to be honest with you.
I am not glad I tasered myself. That is something I could have gone my life without knowing.
Yeah, I don't need to do that one, but I was really curious what the pepper spray would be like.
See, that's funny. I don't need to do that. I'm like, I know it hurts. I get it.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Guess who's back? It's Slim Shady.
JT? Have you seen the posters or the trailer for that new Hunger Games movie?
No, but I know it's coming out.
But I see this thing all the time, and like the guy that's playing the young version of, I guess it's Donald Sutherland's character from what I can gather from the trailer.
Something Snow, President Snow.
He looks like Eminem. He looks like he's one of the fake Slim Shadys, to the point where it's like these movies are supposed to be like set in a different time in a different place, and I'm like, why is she hanging out with Slim Shady?
Is it Slim Shady? Is it?
I don't know. You can't not see it. I'm going to pull it up for you because it is.
It's that bad. Huh?
It's unbelievable, and I know she's going to be Snow White, so I sit there and every time the thing comes up, I call it Hunger Games Snow White and Slim Shady.
What is she? They're doing a live action Snow White?
Of course they are.
Oh my God. I hate the live action. Disney needs to stop with this nonsense.
You hate it because your kids are going to make you watch it.
No, they're not really big into the remakes.
I thought you were going to say, no, I don't watch things with my kids.
I don't watch it. I don't care. I make my children watch horror movies. One or the two of them enjoy it.
Yeah. These two were divorced by now, so if you follow the pattern, I think that David Arquette even said something like this. He's like, these movies, when he signed up for the fifth one, or before there was a fifth one, he said, these movies really chronicle my life. Like, we met on one, we were dating by two, we were married by three, by 4 we were having marital problems, and he's like, maybe we shouldn't make a 5th one.
Oh, no.
And then here they are divorced, or separated, which is what happened in real life.
I got really scared for David Arquette when I heard there was the 6th movie coming out. I'm glad he's still doing okay.
He was the first one to sign up for it, and I think I think he's the best he's ever been in it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's got Richie going on.
Yeah, he's the one who I think survives Richie overshadowing people. I don't feel like he overshadows Dewey. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is what it's called, or as I call it, Snow White and Slim Shady.
Snow White and Slim Shady.
Let me find
All right, find me a picture of this, or the poster of this fella who looks exactly like Eminem.
It's crazy to me. There's one, it's just the one they, like when you see him in his regular outfit in the movies, he doesn't look that much, as much like it, but there's the one they're using on all the advertising when I go to the theater is them like laying in a field and he's just wearing a white shirt, and I'm like, this is just the Slim Shady from...
I have never watched the Hunger Games movies. Holy moly, you were showing me a picture of two people...
Snow White and Slim Shady.
Yeah, Snow White and Slim Shady on a picnic, apparently.
Yeah, that's the one they use in the theater. Every time I go to the theater, I see that, and they ask, what's this movie? And I always want to yell out, it's Snow White and Slim Shady.
All right.
He's got dog tags. Do they have dog tags in that universe?
Yeah, I believe there was some kind of war. I read the books. There was a war and a rebellion, and that's why they have the Hunger Games now.
I've seen this. This is the video for where Devon Sawa was writing him the letter. Stan.
Oh, I never watched that video. Hey, shout out to Pizza Hut. There's no Pizza Huts in our area.
Here's in the corner, you can see Kirby Reed alive in the...
I was going to ask you, yep, look at that. Because they had her listed, didn't they? They had Hayden Panettiere listed in the credits.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I didn't know what... Okay.
There's a different reason for that. That has nothing to do with that.
All right. Well,
that is an Easter egg for that she survived, which was always a fan theory.
Right. But you'll have to tell me again because I don't remember. Richie. Oh, Kitty was on board with Richie. I missed it. At some point, I don't know where it was. Kitty is 100% on board with Richie at this point.
See this guy? Terrible cop.
See this hospital we're about to go to? He was the only one there except for that other dead guard.
Yeah, what were you? So you heard about your sheriff. What are you going to do here? She's dead.
Well, someone's got to be in charge, right?
There's every cop in the city's here.
All 2 of them? I don't remember there being a lot of cops.
It's a small town.
Right.
It's the last time he sees Gail. Well, that's not actually true. In some poetic irony, he sees Gail's the one that calls.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he gets a little smile on his face.
I know. It's sad that that's what makes him happy, even as he's dying.
Dawson. I never saw Dawson's Creek.
Neither did I. But you wouldn't last a day on the creek. I know
on
that.
The creek? I wouldn't last a day on the creek.
That's right.
No. Which one was Pacey? Joshua Jackson?
From Fringe, Joshua Jackson.
He's also in Scream 2.
Is he?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. But he was everywhere in that, time.
Yeah. You've tried to claim he was in something a couple
Halloween
weeks ago.
H2O.
Yeah, you tried to claim he was there.
He was in
not
Halloween
there.
H2O.
No, George Gordon-Levitt's in that movie, though.
Really?
It's the opening kill.
Oh, man. JGL died?
Just to let you know how much that movie's based on just Scream being good, they have a cold open where they murder Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the nurse from the original movies.
That does sound like a Scream influence.
The movie is Scream as it can be. I think Kevin Williamson did the story for it.
Okay. Kitty tried to convince me of something the other day. Just like you keep trying to tell me that Joshua Jackson is not in H2O.
Is this your new one? Your Jenny Ortega, your new one?
Joshua
Ortega? Jackson?
No. Oh. Pikachu has a black stripe on her. The tip of his tail is black. Kitty's like, no, it's not. It's one of those Mandela things.
I don't think it is.
No. It is. I don't care. She kept trying to show me pictures, and I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think it's just like a yellow lightning bolt.
It's got a little black tip at the end. Oh, you're another one of those conspiracy guys.
He got frostbite.
That could be what's happening.
They made a mention in the beginning of this movie when she said, we passed the street too, where that would have been where I popped in my head. She says, when she's doing the trivia at the beginning, and she said, oh, it was Sidney Prescott, and she lived on Elm. So she lived on Elm Street.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's pretty good.
See, there's the only other person at this hospital.
I never recognized this guy was still alive at this moment, whereas his mouth was moving. I somehow missed that every time.
Oh,
now,
no
she's
kidding.
real clever, though, because she's going to try for the gun. I
Right.
wouldn't think like that, because I'd be like, oh, shit.
So at the end, when Jenny Ortega says, "Can you guys take me to a different hospital this time?"
Yeah.
Kitty was like, "Yeah, that other one was terrible."
So that's the Halloween 2 ending. We got to put you in an ambulance. Because at least they're not at a hospital. She's a good actor.
Ortega?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Because, again, she's, having to do most of her time with nobody else on screen.
I've seen her in this and something else.
Scream 6.
That might be the two things I've seen her. She's really good.
Yeah.
I hear something about some Wednesday show she's going to be doing soon.
Yeah, it's good.
Really going to take off.
I don't know what else she's from. I think she was on that TV show You that I never watched on Netflix, which was a big hit. So that probably is why a lot of people know her.
So all of this is relatively recent then.
Yes.
Okay.
She was in Insidious 3. She's in that scene. Or Insidious 2. Is it 2?
I don't know. I watched all of those in a
It is 2.
in
It's
a
the
rush.
scene. It's the scene where you think the next one's going to be exciting because she's going to be a ghost detective. She's the little girl at the door.
That's
Her
right.
sister's
She
the one
is
who's in the wheelchair.
Oh man, that was such a good setup.
They never follow up on it.
Richie.
Now this is a trope they have to stop coming up. He's going to get stabbed, he's going to get slashed in the arm, which they've done for her boyfriend in 2, who is not the killer, but it's the way to make you think that it might be because he missed everything. But they do that with 4. Jill gets stabbed right there. They do it with 5. Richie gets stabbed right there. They're both the killer. You got to stop bringing that one back.
Oh.
Because I think people now expect, if you're going to do it one more time, you got to do it like you did in 2, where people are going to be like, well, it has to be them, and then it's not.
Did they do it in 6?
No.
Okay.
The only people that get like slashed up a little bit and survive are the people you know aren't it because they're the survivors of this movie, which you can do that with.
Well, I think that you don't necessarily know, right? Like it could be one of them snapping.
The only one that would make sense is Samantha.
Yeah,
Which
it is.
They could do.
I don't, because I don't think I'm trying to remember 6 now. I don't think it was the twins at any point.
A Samantha Tara showdown at some point would be pretty much the best thing they could come up with because it would be crazy.
It would be crazy, right?
Yes.
They have to, you know what though? We might have to see her try to act emotionally again instead of crazy. Unless she's just straight up the bad guy. And I guess she would be.
I'd just be really interested in how they would do it. Because it could go down a great road and it could go down a terrible road, and it's a road worth traveling.
Yeah, but what if it was terrible? Then you got Scream 3 again. Well, I guess it would follow Scream 3, so
You know what?
there you go.
I got 5 really good ones. If I got 2 bad ones, I could live with it.
Oh, right. That remake one, the standalone that's not part of the trilogy.
4.
It keeps throwing off my man.
I love 4.
You really do.
I think it's really been underrated since it came out. It's other than 1, it's the only movie that ever really had something to say about the people watching the movie. And
Yeah.
it takes the piss out of these millennials.
Bam, there goes Dewey.
That's something that
Coming
these
in
movies have
hot.
gotten away from. This series hasn't ever really had anything to say about Gen Z.
Real quick, Dewey knew he could shoot his gun with abandon because there's nobody in this hospital.
That's right. Well, he's been to this hospital.
Many times.
Yes. And the last time he was there in 4, I mean, I'm assuming he hasn't been there since. The last time he was there in 4, there was less people in this hospital. How there's nobody here, there was less. No, I knew Dewey was dead when I assumed it from the trailers because I only ever see him wearing basically this outfit.
Oh.
And I was like, uh-oh.
Good eye. I did not notice such things. But you also assumed it from what? The moment he says he has to turn around or the moment he has to...
No.
He doesn't shoot him.
Genuinely from the moment he tells Sydney not to come back no matter what she hears, because that is a movie line.
Okay.
No matter what you hear or see. And I'm like, well, I know she's coming back, so what's going to make her come back?
I don't know.
See him? See his face? He's like, oh, shit. Because he
Oh,
thinks his partner just
yeah.
got killed. You don't read it like that the first time.
No.
But he's just looking, oh,
Yep.
no.
No.
What do I
he's-
do now?
He's trying to figure out what his next play is.
And at this point,
Yep.
it's clear he's dead. When he
Yep.
says, who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? I do. You're dead. It's a good line to go out on. See you later.
Right. You don't have to follow the rules. The rules are stupid. What are you doing? He's trapped. He's trapped in the one thing he knows. The rules of horror movies.
He's pretty badass. He's going out pretty badass.
No.
Except he gets killed by a phone call, which is pretty ironic in the series.
Dun dun. You're right. Sorry, I was watching Deputy Dewey get ready to not have the person there.
They were there.
Oh yeah.
That's why I thought that was really cool too. I was like, there's no way they're going to be there, and then they are. Ooh, Gale kills him.
Oh, Dewey.
I mean, but he's been stabbed before many times. It's when he said, what is Amber? When she says yes today, I was like, that's the end of that. Then for 100%, it's confirmed.
Yeah. I didn't know coming into this if he was going to die. I had, there's always the thought, but I like him so much that you don't want Dewey to die. And he has survived all of this many times before.
Mm-hmm. When 4 was coming out, and it had been 11 years, I thought, well, they can't keep them all alive again. Then the movie started, and I was like, please don't kill anybody. And then it's been 11 years more till we got to 5, and I walked in, and I was like, they're going to have to kill Dewey. Like, I thought they're going to have to.
And they explain it, the one twin.
Yeah.
Mindy? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Mindy explains it, that you have to kill somebody to show the seriousness of it.
Well, they had to do something different, and because they got away with it in 4.
And luckily, we got Richie. He's a new Dewey.
Richie will be back.
He's a fun Dewey.
Here's Dewey taking his 3rd ride. This one, strike 3.
Coroner, yep.
We'll have to remember that for Chad.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. Chad has gone through this twice.
He's done it twice.
Oh, no. Not Chad.
The first time he was on the stretcher, Gail ignored it and then went about her business doing her job.
Right.
The second time, she put down the microphone and went with him. And then this time, she's completely devastated because her whole life had been lived since then, and she was there for all 3.
That's right. 3 different reactions.
Yep.
From the very deep.
But she's going to start the next movie in the same place anyway.
The deep, conflicted character that is Gale Weathers.
She's conflicted within movies. It's when they reset that she goes back to square one.
Well, the conflict happens off.
But again, I think
Off
she's
camera.
just ecstatic to have something where there's a group of people that know her from something that isn't just friends.
Well, don't forget her Cougar Townies. We have conventions.
That's right.
It's me and Kitty usually, and we say, hey, we should put on Cougar Town. It's been a while. And then we put it on.
I don't think anyone's ever said that.
It has been a while.
That line for Community, if you want me to take it seriously, you have to stop calling it by its name.
Yeah, I always get excited when Abed shows up in that one episode in the background.
Oh, boy.
I wait for it.
The couple of them show up in the background of the Community episode,
Yep.
the paintball episode.
Do they? Mm-hmm. I don't think I knew that fact.
It's her son and the woman he has the inappropriate relationship with, who's like twice his age.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
From, I think, The Creek. I think she was on The Creek.
Dizzy Phillips?
She was on The Creek, I think. And I'm only basing that on seeing an episode of Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, where she's the only cast member of the show that will come and talk to Dawson because they hate him so much. But they're sending him letters every year about wanting to do a reunion, even though he's so busy, and he keeps turning it down because it makes him feel important.
I like James Van Der
I
Beek.
love James Van Der Beek.
I never watched that football movie he did.
I don't want your life.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I love James Van Der Beek. I like him when he's playing himself because he's amazing at it.
He seems funny as himself. Do you remember when that football movie came out? Kids were like laying down in the street between cars on highways because that's what they did in the movies.
The Program.
The Program, which sounds like it should be a horror movie, and I guess it kind of was.
Yeah, with James Caan.
Organized sports sounds horrifying.
Yeah, you get concussions and you die early.
Yep, and you go through a lot of pain.
That's why you should play baseball.
No, I saw a pitcher throwing the other day in slow motion, and that did not look.
Oh,
good.
don't do that. That'll ruin your arm.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Their arms are floppy.
Go play first base. Learn to hit and play first base. You get to stand there.
I never learned how to hit the ball. I never learned how to catch the ball.
It's true. Or throw the ball.
First base, I can't throw at all. And first base is really far away to run. And if I can't hit the ball, I'm not going to be like walking to first. I could get hit a lot, I guess. That's allowed, right?
It's a way.
Just paint a target on my helmet.
No, I knew because we're going to end up at the Mocker house. I knew from the trailer right away it was the Mocker house. And it really made me wish that they had not put that in the trailer. But I don't think it would have taken me long to figure it out in this one either. Because I watched that first movie.
Can you guess how long it took me to figure that out?
I would say You didn't know until right now when I said it.
No, they say it in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
That's what
I'm aware.
I think you.
I still think it was until right now.
I think you told me after the movie when I saw it the first time. Like, oh, and I told Kitty, I'm like, just so you know, that's Stu Macher's house, and she was like, oh, and I'm like, yeah.
I think I knew. I think I would have known pretty much immediately because that is, to me, the best third act of any horror movie ever takes place in that location. So bringing it back 25 years later is such a fucking cool idea.
Martha's a Scream fan too, and she said she saw that like right away trailer.
If you're a real fan of that movie, it's impossible not to see it.
I guess I'm not a real fan of these movies.
Well, I don't even think you saw the trailer though.
I don't think I did see the trailer actually. I don't see a lot of trailers. I don't know if you know this.
Why do they call them trailers when they play ahead before the movie? Trailers are behind the car.
I used to know the answer to that, but now I don't. And now it's a very good question. I'm still trying to think of a grizzled veteran who has been through many, like just in a few movies. It would have to be one of these franchises, but the franchises always reinvent themselves to bring back their killer.
I like this. I'm sorry if it's weird for you. And she's like, no, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Because she's over it.
Neve Campbell is...
It's my favorite performance she has in the series.
I agree.
Yeah.
She's fine in the first three, but I just don't care, I guess. Yeah. Like, there's so much other things I like more about those Scream movies than the final girl.
It's always hard to be the center of it. It's like, it's the Buffy problem. Everybody loves Willow, everybody loves Xander, everybody loves Spike. And it's like, yeah, you know who's doing all the hard work? Everybody loves Giles. You know who's doing all the hard work here?
Is your main character.
The one who has to stay in the middle so these people can orbit her and be weird.
That's why I never want to be the main character.
No.
That's why I said I'm not the host of this show either.
Yeah.
Don't drag me into something where I got to do something. I'll pop in.
This, I think, I'm just so over this. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I don't care. We're just gonna murder my way through this.
She's genuinely.
Although she doesn't actually kill anybody in this movie. This is the first time. But I always like to think that she's sitting somewhere and she finds out it's happening again, and she's like, "Time to murder," because it's the one time. It's one every few years she gets to murder for free.
She's got a taste of the bug now.
How could you not? How many people has she killed?
She can't go back to the everyday life now that she's hunted the most dangerous game.
Let's see. She killed Stu. She killed Billy. She killed Mrs. Loomis. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Cotton Weary killed Mrs. Loomis. I think Mrs. Loomis killed Mickey. So she didn't kill anybody in 2. She doesn't kill Roman either in 3 because Dewey does it. She kills Jill.
So by 4, she's got a good blood rage worked up.
4 she kills. So she's only killed 3 people. She didn't kill anybody in this one. So I guess that's less people than I expected her to kill.
All right. So maybe she does.
And she got 2 in the first movie. So she really only killed 1 person the rest of the way.
That's why I think she's just...
Well, she got Dewey killed in this one, as we discussed.
That's right.
Add it to the list. This version of Sydney just being so in control and over it this is the Linda Hamilton Terminator 2 as opposed to Terminator 1. It's like, I'm not that person anymore. Like, let's just go fuck this up.
Yeah. And yet somehow it's not.
But it's not as over the top as like Laurie Strode is at Halloween 2018, where she's like, I've wasted my whole life doing this.
The Danny McBride one is the 20. Okay.
She's lived her life, but she's like, well, time to take care of this business again.
It's not the Deputy Dewey change in character either.
No, she got stronger.
Right. He fell apart.
Because I always said about 4, one thing that was interesting about it was that it tells you that she's stronger and she's written a help book and she wants to help people. What it doesn't ever tell you, but it kind of just shows you, is that she's alone. She never mentions anybody being in her life in 4. She's not married. She's just on this book tour. She hasn't seen Dewey or Gail or anybody in years. She hasn't been home in years. So, like, what was her life? It seems like on the surface, it seems like she's strong, but in the background, it seems like she's sad. So I like that this one, 11 years later, gave her a family and a purpose outside of these movies. Because the 4th one didn't, which I always thought was interesting. See, I would have known right here. This is the house, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, this is the very part. I'm like, well, Kitty, you might recognize that stairwell at this house as...
They're doing their best to hide it. Okay. They really are. And I've seen a lot of people watch this, they don't know.
Right.
But I was like, no, this
like
is...
me. Right.
He walked through the door, and I'm like, I know what the story is.
Here's me dropping all this insider knowledge because I know these horror movies. And Kitty's like, uh-huh.
But again,
sure,
it's the setting of my favorite thing in my favorite movie. So, like, of course I'm going to know that it is it. But they're trying. They're trying to hint at it, but not show you outright that it is it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like the twins.
I do, too. I'm glad that they get to live...
This is the basement from part 1. That's Stu Macher's house.
But it wasn't the basement, it was the garage.
That's right. I always have this problem because it was the garage.
Yes.
Did they explain? Oh, didn't we? Isn't it a basement garage? And like, no, it's not. So you see the garage door. I think we had this whole discussion.
This is just a basement. This is an unseen part of the house that they filmed to look like the garage when they went down the door. This is not the same place.
Damn it.
The garage is in the back of the house. This is off the side of the kitchen.
All right, so it was just done to trick people like me.
It was done to evoke it, but maybe people wouldn't think about it and think it's the same location. But the garage, as we know from the geography of the house in the first one, because everybody leaves the party and can't see Tatum, it's in the back of the house, which is a weird place to put a garage.
That's right, it was.
Because she falls out the back of the house, and then that's where she's on the boat, and that's where she sees it. So it's a weird setup for a house.
Where does this movie take place? California?
Yes.
Maybe that's how they do houses out in California. I don't know.
Well, as we know, in Illinois, they put detached...
There's detached laundry houses.
There's laundry houses in Illinois, if you missed the Halloween commentary.
My girl Annie's got a really annoyed at everything vibe going on in that movie. Nev Campbell's kind of got this going on in this movie, too. Like, really Annie vibes. Just done with
Annie's
this.
such a bitch to her friends.
That's just her way of being friendly. I don't think that's being a bitch necessarily.
It's so funny that, like, I kind of have to agree with you. She's the best character in that movie. That's not Loomis. The best non-Loomis character.
She's the best non-Loomis character. But, man, if I had to pick one of those girls, it's going to be her to be my final girl.
Well, I would pick Linda Vanderklok because she fucks.
And she's got that last name.
That's right. I would take that name. Brian Vanderklok.
He kind of got you. Vanderklok. I like this part.
I do too.
I'm not going. Of course you wouldn't go.
This is where you're like, well, you have to survive because you're smart. But I didn't think he did.
Well, he's got some of that Randy brains.
Yeah.
Like him and Mindy's got the horror movie stuff going on, but he's got that survival instinct.
It's a good line delivery too. You're not the killer.
So likable.
Killer.
I can't go upstairs and sleep with you. We'd be alone together. She doesn't seem to be concerned that he's the killer.
No, that's true.
She's suffering from that horniness that those teenagers get.
Or that her fling has already been targeted in this murder.
Oh, yeah. So she's got nothing left?
I like this too. This is where you get the thumbs up that gets a call back later. I like Chad.
What's the callback later? I do like Chad. I like the twins.
When Mindy's getting stretchered out, she turns and she gives a thumbs up, and then the camera pans over, and he's already in the hospital. He's already in the ambulance.
Yeah,
giving a thumbs
right,
up. It was the hint that he was alive before you got to see it. See, this is where they did the thing I love, where they just unwrite what happens in 3. Because 3 tries to tell you that Roman was behind the whole thing and gave Billy the idea and set up the whole thing. And this one, they're like, no, you didn't. Billy Loomis started this. And I was in the theater, I wanted to yell out, thank you. Because it drives me nuts, that shit that 3 tries to pull.
Good old Billy Loomis.
Billy's mother.
God, I like that. That's why I like part 6 so much, too.
Maybe you should watch part 2 so you can see how little Mickey's in that movie.
I believe you. 100% believe you. It was Jerry O'Connell who's up in that cafeteria singing.
Yeah. He's in that scene. He's just sitting there. He's got like 2 lines in it. He's in the scene in the classroom. He's in that scene that you're talking about.
I like that he takes a candlestick for a weapon.
He has a cameo at the party they're at. He has like one scene where after her boyfriend gets stabbed, gets his arm slashed, he tries to set in her head like, why would he even run back in that house? And like that's his whole point in the movie. He's got like 4 lines.
Well, he was just a random psychopath they found on the internet.
That's true. Which is what the internet was in the 90s.
Well, it's kind of that way now.
Yeah.
So it's the internet then.
Yeah.
It's not time specific. So this came out recently, right? 2022 maybe? 2021? What's it called? Scream 5?
It came out in year 5.
You can shake your head at me, but I've forgotten what year this
It came out in 5, that's correct. 5 AD.
All right. So, relatively recent. So they named him Chad, knowing the internet Chad.
But they used that joke in 6.
Oh, do they?
When Richie's brother reveals himself, and he's like, all I had to do was room with a stereotypical douchebag, literally named Chad.
Oh, okay.
So I think they set it up for that joke one day.
Do you think that they knew they were going to keep the twins alive, or was it a last minute like, I think they were so good on set that we can bring them back for a 6, or was it a planned thing?
I don't know. I know the Dewey one was filmed both ways.
Oh, really?
And they decided that's why Gail has no reaction to it, because they didn't have that footage. They just had, we liked this guy. Let's have him filmed getting into the ambulance. We don't know if they'll use it, and then they did. I think that they plan to keep them both alive in this one.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't have set up that thumbs up. I guess you could have cut it, but it had to be in the script for them to do it.
Yeah, it had to be one
to
of the versions. Okay, so you're saying there were multiple versions possibly.
I don't think there was in this one. I think they were just like, these are our new characters because we're going to make a new series out of it.
So they knew they were doing a series then when they were...
I think they assumed this would be a hit because it was the 25th anniversary. And you got all the...
And 4 did well.
No, it did not.
Oh, it did not?
No, that is no, 3 did well. But it was
Really?
the end of the trilogy, because 1 and 2 were great and they're classics.
Oh, yeah, right. So you got to go. You got to see
go.
the third one.
And, you know, those things, they have new life on home video. So then I've seen it on video. I miss Scream in the theaters or Scream 2 in the theaters, but I saw them. I caught them on TV. I caught them. This is how Netflix helps a lot of things now, where, these things grow and then they'll hit. So I think Scream 6 did better because Scream 5 was out there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't think they knew it would be as big a hit as it was, because these movies... 4 did not do great. 4 did very poorly comparatively. That's why there was no new trilogy off that one.
Ooh.
But then when they were going to hit the 25 years, they thought, let's try it again. Let's get all the people back. And boy, it worked. And like I said, 6, not only was it more successful than 5, so it's actually the most successful one in the franchise, not for inflation, but the most successful one in the franchise. It won MTV's Best Movie at the MTV Movie Awards, which is a nonsense thing, but it's also for a generation that's not my generation. Scream in 1996 won that award. Scream 6 won it. That's credible to me. That's literally 4 generations apart. Gen X was giving it to it, and now Gen Z is giving it to it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it is. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out, because this movie is like a rewrite. It's launching a new direction for like the trick for horror movies, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a new style.
So they're having this party for Wes, because people get mad when they see this and like, why are they having a party in the middle of this? It's like, well, it makes sense. They're honoring Wes. There was a shot earlier that I missed where they're toasting to Wes. And the reason that Hayden Panettiere is credited in the movie is that she, along with Drew Barrymore and Henry Winkler and other people that were in the previous movies, are the voices toasting to Wes, because they're doing it to Wes Craven. So that's why they put his name, that character, and did the storyline thing, so they could have all these past actors and people
do the voiceover to give their own tribute to Wes Craven.
Yeah. So that's why she's credited.
I think Drew Barrymore was doing it to Wes Anderson.
Drew Barrymore is also the voice of the principal that speaks over the loudspeaker at the beginning of the movie.
Son of a bitch, it is.
Yep.
Rewind it. I want to hear it again.
Again, that's not how this works.
But I want to hear it now. Oh, Richie.
How could you not love him?
It's clearing out everybody so you can murder them.
But he does have, like, stepdad energy.
He does. But, like a
stepdad who tries too hard.
But you can't be mad at him either. Like,
no,
you're going to have to follow.
No, when you grow up, you'll really respect how hard he tried. But he's not your dad.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Oh, Mindy.
No, she's great. For these new characters, they really did a good job. Like I said, you just have to understand the thing you're writing, and the people that wrote this really understood Scream, it's a big risk when you have different people. The only time Kevin Williamson didn't write one before this was a disaster. I listened to the commentary on this, and they wanted Kevin Williamson to be a part of it, not to write it because they had their own things, but could you come produce it and be a part of it? And he didn't want to do it. His assistant said he's not going to want to do it. Like, he had a really bad experience with the studios and 4, but it's a different studio now. So they got a call from him. They had a meeting with him, and they thought the meeting went well, but their assistant's like, yeah, I told you he's not interested. They said they got a call one day, and he was like, called them, and he was like in tears, and he was like, are we dedicated to Wes? And they said, of course. And he said, I'm in. Okay. And it's pretty cool that, like, he cared that much about something he created, because I care so much about the thing he created too.
Well, Craven's known for a lot of things, not just...
No, I know. But it's that he could be that wounded by being, a bad experience with his movie that he created 27 years ago that is my favorite movie, and that 25 years later when they're making this, he cares that much about it that it hurts him so much, but also that because Wes is gone, he wants to be a part of it to honor him. And it's like, that's pretty cool to me that something he did matters that much to him this deep into his career.
And that is very cool. But I'm glad it works because this could have failed.
Oh, easily. This could have gone sideways so many ways. But and it never does.
It's really, really good. It's like you said, being a tribute to Scream 1, it is Scream 1 again somehow.
Yeah. It feels like it.
Right.
It looks better than it, but it feels like it. And that's the hardest thing to achieve because I don't even think the sequels achieved it.
But yeah, and they're just doing Scream 1 over again.
Yes.
It's so weird. Because I'm trying to, The Force Awakens. That's New Hope.
But I think it's better than New Hope. I'm sorry. People are going to get mad at me, but I think it's better than A New Hope.
What? I'd rather watch.
I'd much rather watch Force Awakens.
A New Hope is really just not that good. There's not a lot happening. If it's what you got, I like it for what it is. But the times have moved on.
I respect its importance. I don't enjoy the movie that much.
No. You know what one I always skip usually in rewatches?
Yeah.
That one.
Like, I'm sure it's a better movie than The Force Awakens, but I would rather watch The Force Awakens.
Well, because this is what I say when I say, like, I appreciate things are done, but they're done better later.
Like, here's where they're going to reveal the house she's in. As if I didn't know. As if you could fool me.
What house is this?
This would have been, if they could have actually hidden this somehow, this would have been the fucking greatest reveal. So this does work for some people. And when it does, when that penny drops, holy shit. It's the coolest. That shot would have been the greatest thing of all time. And now you get to have fun with it.
Yep. Now we're going to redo this whole thing again.
I like, too, this is a payoff from a line from Scream 2 where they're walking into the restaurant to talk about who could be the killer. It's Dewey and Randy, and the clip of Stab is on the TV. And she's like, I can't believe they got, what's her name?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
No, in the Stab version of the movie, they make the joke in 1, and then she's actually in 2.
Oh, shit, yeah.
What's her name?
I don't know.
From 90210.
Shannon Doherty.
No, the other one. No, the other one.
Jessica Alba. Heather Locklear.
None of these people are in 90210.
Josh Allen.
Oh, boy. You're just seeing what you see now. You're doing your dad thing.
Saying what I see.
Well, anyway, she's like, I can't believe they got her to play Sid, and then I got Joe Blow Nobody play me, and then you watch this, and it's just nobody.
Shit, who was that? Jenny Garth.
No, the other one.
Ian Ziering.
It's a girl.
He was in Swamp Thing. No, Ian Ziering's a guy. He was in Swamp Thing. It was pretty good if you ever watch it.
This is a good one. Like, if you were going to guess anybody's the killer, you would guess Amber at this point, but her reveal of being the killer is pretty great.
Yeah, it is. It's very sudden. It's like, okay, we're done here.
It's very violent and very definitive. And then she does a clever thing for the movie, and she points the gun at Richie. To try to get you to be like, it's not Richie. Because he's like, run, and then she's pointing the gun at him when she shoots.
See, I didn't think it had to be 2 because it wasn't 2 people in part 3, right?
That's the only one that wasn't 2.
Right, so I still have these like vestigial memories, even though I've never watched it again. Like, well, they could not have a second killer and change it up.
Well, there's 3 killers in the third one, and the 6th one. Yeah, it's pretty great. See, she points it right at Richie.
Yeah.
Well, at Sam.
The general direction.
But it at least puts it in your head that, like... See, when he says, I think the killer could be Tara, down here when he says that to her, I was already thinking that way. Like, why did she survive that opening?
Oh, yeah.
But he brings out that, like, she's the one that brought us here. That's true, because she doesn't know that he stole the inhaler. I wish he could have just flat out said, how did she survive that opening? Because that's the part that makes me think it is, but you can't say it.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Kitty said it could never have been either of them.
Either of who?
The sisters.
Oh. I wish it had been her. I wish it had been Tara. It would have been insane. I already had in my mind, too, how what Jill does to herself to appear to be the victim in 4.
Oh.
The only problem is you have to suspend the disbelief of why is she acting this hard in the opening scene if she's doing it on...
Oh, if she's doing it, it's just a setup.
Yeah.
Look at the scorn.
Tori Spelling.
Oh. I like this part, too, where Amber just gives up.
Yep.
She's like, I don't have time. They're not falling for it.
Well, like the line they just did where they hear the scream, and she's like, sounds about right.
Gut shot.
I hate the way that Amber runs in that door, though. That's the one thing that drives me nuts.
I wasn't paying attention.
She
What
just
bothers?
slowly, like, side saddles into the door. She's getting shot at. And I'm
She's
like,
dodging the bullet. She's
She's not
ducking and
moving that-
weaving.
she's
Shuck
not
and
moving that
jive.
fast.
Shuck and jive.
she's not moving that fast.
She was. She got a little shimmy.
This is my favorite shot of the movie, right? Coming up right here. Because I love that first movie so much. And now you got to walk back into it 25 years later. Awesome. That's a perfect legacy sequel moment.
Yep. And it works.
And her character is so different now than it was then. It's a perfect moment.
And she just launched. She's not scared. There's no fear
And
in
now-
Sidney Prescott's face.
The TV's been knocked over because she threw a lamp at it. But the first movie is scored by Halloween in the background on that TV. This movie had the movie based on the first movie on the TV. Just to let you know what is commenting on fully. In case you missed it, it's about Scream.
Guess what?
You missed it?
I missed it. I kind of got it, like vaguely.
Well, we'll get to my little Easter egg that we've talked about before at the end of this movie. That is, I guess, probably a deep cut of lore of having to really love that first movie to even put it together like this.
It's an Easter egg that I don't remember, so I'm looking forward to this exciting Easter egg.
Yeah, I didn't think you would remember.
No.
See, this is where I'm like, I think it could be her. I still think it could be her. Because I don't believe it's Richie.
When you
I
find
refuse to believe it's Richie. It has to be someone else, and I refuse to believe it's Richie.
Despite Tara being stabbed in the opening scene multiple times and now being found in a closet all taped up.
As far as I know, Chad's dead. I know Mindy's been attacked. And all I got left is Tara and Richie. And it's got to be one of them. And my brain refuses to allow me to believe that it's Richie because I want to be his friend. I want to hang out with him.
I guess by process of elimination, I too was blaming Tara.
I
at this
have no
point.
choice.
Right. It can't be Richie.
And I like Tara too, but I love Richie.
At this point in the movie, I've usually lost track of the body count and who
Sure.
survived and who's, so who's left. I love this.
She's so great in this movie.
Yep, just
she also gets
shoot
one
the
of
doors.
She also gets one of the best Ghostface lines off where she's like, I'm bored, and hangs up on him, and you hear
Yep.
Ghostface go, huh?
You don't hang up on Ghostface.
It's perfect.
There she goes, just hung up on him. But yep, just shooting the doors. If there's a ghost face hiding behind it, you're going to get him. Oh,
She
Richie.
got one.
She got one.
Hiding from murderers. I love him.
Yep. And at this point, I'm like, oh, Richie. Oh,
Holy shit, Ghostface. I love him. He can be all right, right?
he'll be fine.
He's got to come back and get revenge for his family for getting revenge for him, the way that Jason Voorhees does. Or
Hell,
he
Ghost
why is he
Richie.
around? I don't know. It's coming up. I'm going to recreate the moment where I already turned to you and said, oh, I hope he lives.
Yes, you had already said that.
No,
And I'm sitting here quietly.
No, I'm just worried for him.
I'm not even eating my popcorn because I'm so wrapped up in Richie's survival. All right, Samantha's got the gun. Richie's,
Oh no, he's not going to make it.
oh no. I was happy he was going to stand behind the person with the gun so he can be safe, and then he didn't even give me a chance.
You know what he is? He's our Tony Almeida for this universe.
Tony Almeida from Jack Bauer's 24.
Yes.
Jack Bauer's 24. Who
We've talked about Tony Almeida before, literally on a watch-along. And he's the
should bring him
character.
up on all watch-alongs.
He's the character who is not the star of the show, but he's the one that I'm rooting for and I see as the star of the show.
The one who sat around doing nothing in the background.
He got
for
that flight manuscript.
every episode there was, in the final episode, with the killer running around the office.
Manifest.
He gets up from the flight manifest.
He got
It took
that
him
manifest.
4 hours.
He got it.
The show opens with a plane blowing up, and it's like, give me that flight manifest, Tony Almeida, CTU.
He got it.
4 hours later. I think Jack Bauer had killed like 16 people at that point.
Yeah, what'd you do today? I killed half the city. What'd you do? I got this manifest.
You told me to.
Government work. Why are you working fast?
Stay at your desk, Tony Almeida. Come on, Richie.
When he got up from that desk at the end of the season, I was so concerned.
Come on, Richie. Don't do it. Amber plays a good crazy.
She goes, yeah, she gets to go full over the top. Now, she dies pretty much the same way she dies in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's one of the Manson family people that breaks in at
right,
the end and
she
she gets
was.
burned to death.
I didn't know. I don't remember. I didn't know.
She gets to go completely psycho and gets burned. It's perfect casting because she's really good at it.
She's got that one thing.
Once she turns it on, she's one of the better ones.
Well, it's nice too in this movie because it makes sense. She seemed barely constrained, barely constrained psychosis, unlike Richie, who seems like the nicest guy. Oh, look at that nut job!
I've always justified Richie was able to hold it together because he's playing a performance because he's making a movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I get to it. But Amber struggles to do it. Now, in some ways, Amber is the sickest of all of the killers.
Why?
Because yes, Sydney's boyfriend tried to kill her. But that, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm saying I understand that.
Domestic violence is a thing.
Amber ingratiated herself into Tara's life to the point where they were best friends. Tara was willing to die for her, run out the house and save her with a killer trying to get her. She's protecting her all the time from Wes, from her own asthma. Like she's mothering her. Like she's so deeply seated into Tara just to get this to happen. It's sick. It's sicker than than Richie, sleeping with Samantha.
Yeah, because that was only 6 months.
No, the emotional twist of how hard Amber went into this is insane.
Become a part of her life
for years. It's insane. So she's one of my favorites in that way.
Stay with me here. What if she was normal before she moved into the house where the ghost of Stu Macher lives?
She does say possesses her. Says she's been obsessed since her parents bought this house.
New turn. Part 3 is sort of an Amityville type feel for it, where the house is Stu Macher trying to get him.
I love this line coming up. What did it already happened? Well, your mom's a drunk and it's a small town. So good. Yeah, when she turns on the crazy, she becomes awesome.
All right. I don't know. I think it's a ghost now. Part 3 is a 3 ghost battle.
We're not doing this ghost shit again. When
3 ghost battle.
Mindy lays out that Sam would be the killer. She's correctly guessing. There it is. Small town, your mom's a drunk. She's correctly guessing what their plan is in front of them. Their plan is to frame her to be the killer. So she's right. She's dead on right. And I think Mindy is the 100% the reason that Sheriff Judy and Wes get murdered. Because in front of the same two people who she just explained and laid out what is happening and what the plan is, she says, nobody cares about the sequels. Nobody cares about your mother and you, Wes, because you're not from the original story. You're from the sequels. What do they immediately do? They go and kill them.
Oh, that's right.
So I think Mindy was dead on right to the point where the killer sat there and were like, fuck, we got to change this up because she's completely onto us.
Because we're following too many tropes. We're not new. We're not something different.
She knows exactly how it should play out, which is exactly what they're making, not what's going to happen in the real movie. She guesses what's happening in the movie they're creating, and she's 100% right. And I think that's why she'd have to go kill Judy and Wes, because she said we won't. I don't think they ever planned to do it.
But that was the very next thing they did.
The very next thing they did was go kill them.
I think you're right.
They went from there to do that.
I mean, does anybody have clean hands in this universe?
Richie.
Oh, man, Richie.
Richie doesn't kill anybody in this movie.
Does he? I was about to ask, who does Richie actually kill in this movie?
I don't think he kills anybody.
So
he's not there. He's not in town for the terror attack even. He doesn't kill... It has to be Amber Dewey outside of the bar because he's at the hospital. He doesn't kill Dewey. That's Amber. He doesn't. I don't think he kills Wes because he's at his hotel room. I think, and there's a line in 6 where she says he was a man baby who made his girlfriend do all the killing. I don't think he kills anybody.
There is that line.
Yeah.
I think he never kills anybody.
I don't think he does. I see. This is where she gets way better in this movie.
Yes, I agree.
Like that line where she's like, "I untied her," and it's such a good, That's
I don't think she does the conflict well enough, and it's not against her. But look who's acting around her.
It's true.
She might be fine. I don't know. I can't judge.
It's true. We're getting. She's great. Richie's great. Obviously, Tara's great. We're getting my favorite Neve Campbell performance where she's just like bored with it.
Dewey was amazing.
Dewey's incredible. The cat that played Wes was great.
Yep.
Chad is great. Mindy's great. Yeah, they really cast the shit out of this movie.
And that is that
even
main
Kyle
character.
Gallner, who has that one scene, is great.
Who's Kyle Gallner?
The guy that gets killed outside the bar.
Oh yeah,
he's great. He's a really good actor. He's really good in Smile.
I haven't seen any of those newfangled horror movies.
Give Tara some credit for the fight she puts up with having everything be broken in her.
Right.
She really goes through it in this movie.
all of the stabbings, aside from the one from the guy outside the bar, there's multiple stab wounds that fail to kill people.
Yep. Now, this was written before the pandemic. So it's not on purpose that that's hand sanitizer, as in we're all washing our hands because of the pandemic. It just worked out that way.
Was this the first movie we went back to the
Yes.
theater to go see a movie for?
No, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, weirdly. It was Spider-Man. Not a bad choice.
No, it's a good movie. I enjoy her performance here a lot. How she's trying and she can't keep it together.
No.
She's like, I got to get this line out. He died like a pussy. Fuck. Yeah, Amber's got to go pretty high on the list of killers, actually, because she has a good post-reveal craziness. She killed an original, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
I think she killed everybody in this movie. I really do.
Well, the line in part 6 confirms it. I'm basing this totally on what you say and not any remembrance of my own, having not seen the movie in a while.
It's possible he did some of this, but I
don't
feel
think
like
so.
he didn't.
I don't think he
He
did.
doesn't seem to, look at her. She seems to be good at it. He doesn't seem to be good at it.
He likes the stabby.
He likes the story, not the action. He's the cook from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, he's just trying to make a movie
He's
here.
just the cook.
Just trying to do my thing. And he planned it. It's not like the cuckoo is just going about his business.
I don't know why. I just really enjoy that Courtney Cox likes being in these movies.
I do
I
too.
don't know why that I do. I know that when she was real excited about doing the first one because she was already Monica on Friends at that point, and she got to do something so radically different where she's like a bitch, and like I get that. I think that's just carried over to, through leaner times in her career, she still has this giant box office thing she can do, and then her legacy can be not just the one thing.
Well, it's part of that. You like it when people enjoy the franchises they're
Yeah,
in, especially
exactly.
a big franchise.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like a lot of them don't want to have any. It's disappointing when they're like, you needed to do money. It was early in my career.
Yes, they do that a lot. That's why I love Jamie Lee Curtis so much, because she cares about those fans a lot too of her movies. She cares about how it's represented. She cares about its legacy a lot. I've seen her give interviews where she's like, my mother, when she died, the headline was Psycho actress Janet Leigh died. She's like, I know when I die, it's going to say Halloween actress Jamie Lee Curtis. Is like, and I'm proud of that like this is an important character that I got to play over the course of 45 years. That means something to people and kind of was important to the movies. And it's like, that is kind of cool that you did it your first time out is incredible.
Right. She talks about it, but Courtney Cox keeps showing up for them.
Well, so does Jamie Lee Curtis. Has
Yeah.
done
Well, yeah.
7 of those movies.
I'm not knocking her for that. I was more just saying Courtney Cox doesn't seem to talk about it.
Now she's crawling towards an umbrella.
Yes.
This is the point I make. At the end of the first movie, when Sydney strikes back, she's in the closet hiding and she hits him with an umbrella. Mm-hmm. That is in this specific movie they're commenting on, the weapon of the victim.
Yes, they're looking at the umbrella versus the knife. That was the choice.
She's looking at the umbrella versus the knife. Now, people say that like, oh, he shows her the knife. He does not show her the knife. She knows the knife is there because he's just a reflection of her own
psyche.
Yeah. So she's deciding, what am I crawling towards? It could be the exit, it could be the weapon of the victim, or it could be the weapon of the killer, and that's the one she chooses. It's a
100%.
It's a very cool and interesting thing. This is also the best thing she does in the entire movie. She's awesome in this moment.
What are you talking about? This is the worst part of the movie.
I'm pretending that's not Richie because it's such a it's such a badass thing.
This is great.
This is her.
She really gets into
herself.
Yes, and this is where she is a real character, like you said earlier. She's no longer just her father's,
Yep.
daughter.
This is why maybe it doesn't work so well, because she's only playing half of herself most of the movie, and now you get the full on.
Yep, this is me.
But now you get the worst thing that's ever happened in film. Oh,
That wasn't Richie. Oh no, it was.
this is cool though when she wipes the blade like her day. Well, actually, it was like Stu, but they all do it now.
Oh yeah, all the ghost faces do. You're right.
She does it without the glove on.
They use the hems of their robes.
See, from this moment on, I think she's great I think she's been good for a while in the movie, but I think, including 6, she's fully formed as a character now.
I'll agree. I think she's also no longer asked to do all of those emotional, conflicted scenes.
No, the conflict is much more interesting now because she knows what she is.
Right.
She's not afraid of it. She's just like, she has to deal with it. Like, the last time we see Billy in the reflection in this movie is in the rear, back window of a car, and he's giving her like a proud look of how proud he is, and she walks away and she doesn't look scared. She's like, she gives a like, oh, shit, yeah, now I gotta live with this. My greatest fear came true.
She's back. Oh, that didn't last long.
Look at all the brunettes.
That means something.
Oh, the Hitchcock blonde thing was the famous thing with horror. It was always blondes, and Friday the 13th was always blondes. And this is Scream is like, we do brunettes here.
Okay.
They don't do blondes. Look at this, 4 brunettes.
Yeah, you're right.
And Mindy's a brunette, and Chad's a brunette. 6 brunettes walk out of this movie.
Huh. Interesting.
You know?
I never noticed that before, but you're right.
Well, they always try to make people in the first movie. See, she's going to give the thumbs up here in a second, and that's
Mindy,
how you know.
yes.
Yeah, Mindy's alive, and you're assuming Chad. You have no reason to believe Chad's alive.
No,
except it makes some sense because the car interrupts him, and he has to run. Amber H has to run away.
Yeah, but he got stabbed.
That had to be. Was that Richie? He's the one who disappears in the basement, and Amber's with Tara.
But he didn't kill him.
He didn't kill him. Oh my God, you're right. So nobody in that family, nobody in that family can do their job correctly.
Oh no.
In the original movie, Tatum is blonde because Sydney's a brunette. What's her name is in real life not blonde. She had to dye her hair blonde.
Oh, what's her face?
Rose McGowan.
Yes.
She's not blonde.
Okay.
Although I liked her as blonde in that movie a lot.
I liked Rose McGowan.
They do. But she's naturally brunette. She's brunette in everything. But because Sydney was Neve Campbell's brunette, she had to dye her hair blonde. In this movie, they're like, we don't care. Everybody's brunette.
Okay.
Except Wes. He had to dye his hair for different reasons. Because they wanted to make him such a fascinating character who's like a douche you wouldn't want to see, but he's also the nicest person.
They had to dye his hair blonde because the blondes have to dye.
It's a great line. I'll survive. I always do. This is a rare moment where you get Final Girl talking to Final Girl in a movie. That doesn't happen a lot. It does happen occasionally. I had another example, and now it's gone. But it doesn't happen all the time where you get old Final Girl talking to new Final Girl.
Yeah. I can't think of any offhand.
I had one that's gone.
Did you now?
I did have.
I'm still trying to.
I do. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Patricia Arquette takes over as the main character in that movie, and her character does survive till 4. They had to recast it because she became a star. But Heather Langenkamp is in it as Nancy. So you get there. This is very much that, where you get the old Final Girl and the new Final Girl
Okay.
passing the torch. The difference is that Heather Langenkamp's character, Nancy, dies in that movie.
Okay.
So it's a pure thing.
a pure handing off of the
surviving is her quality.
All right. I still haven't thought of a guy who
Here you
gets
go.
grizzled.
Billy's gonna be so proud of her.
Yeah.
And look at her face. She's like, great.
She's got
cool. Yep, deal with that now. They're just gonna leave you alone in the back of the ambulance? That doesn't seem right.
No. Well, the staffing issues they have.
That's true.
Like at the hospital.
I don't even see ambulance people here. Those were cops, I think.
Again, the staffing
Oh,
issues.
they're ambulance people.
No.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, look at the little, but not that ambulance.
What are they talking about, you think? I'd love to know what the guy said on the day to make the small talk.
Whatever was on TV the night before.
It's pretty cool. Pull out like the first movie, right at daybreak in the first movie. This was the new Gale, I guess.
New Gale.
Jumping on the...
Don't worry, old Gale will be back at the beginning of the next one.
This was a set. They didn't actually shoot at the house. I don't know. Their house exists.
You can kind of tell.
Yeah. You can when you really look for it.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the grass and the sidewalk of the road
Yeah.
there in front of the driveway. Looks very set in the background.
Why is your garage in the back of the house? It's fascinating.
I don't know.
But it isn't the real movie.
I know. I understand.
It's fascinating to me.
There's the 4 West.
That's a little moving every time I see it. It's really beautiful.
Oh, the 4 West? I'm
Yeah.
talking about the garage in the back of the house. Because I would move too.
That is the people that directed Ready or Not.
I like that movie.
I don't know what else these guys wrote, but they wrote a really good... I can't imagine anybody doing a better job with the 25th anniversary Scream movie, honestly.
And it is the handing off, especially because with Neve Campbell not coming back for 6.
Ken Williamson, executive producer.
Yeah.
We got to check. You know what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, of course. We're going to sit here and we're going to say, who is the best boy in Scream?
I wonder
number
if they
5?
could get Neve Campbell back on board if she'd be interested in doing what Jamie Lee Curtis
Party
did.
of 5?
What she did with Jamie Lee Curtis did and became a producer on the series and having more say.
But not give her more money? Just try
No,
to lure her back?
You get paid for that too.
Okay. Well, it sounds like that was the only real problem, wasn't it, with her coming back? It was
Yeah, they lowballed her.
Yeah, and she said, fuck that noise.
And they were like, we don't need you. And I was like, she's been the poster for every one of these movies. That's not true. Drew Barrymore's the poster of the first one, technically. But she's been the poster of every one of these movies. And she's the face of it. And then the movie made more money than all of the movies. And I was like, I guess they were right. Yay, capitalism.
But
Yeah, this cast was
Mikey
great.
Madison, that's the name of the crazy Amber.
This cast was great.
Blonde hair, dead.
The nicest guy in the world. Jenny Ortega.
Ortega. She was in that,
Wednesday.
yeah, she was in Wednesday, I hear. Jack
Richie.
Quaid.
I love you, Richie.
I'm happy when he pops up briefly in part 6.
Yep. I guess they called him and were like, do you have anything? And he's like, I got these old videos I used to make. It's like, we'll take them.
Yes, that's right. You told me that. That's really funny.
So,
Like Mindy?
great cast. These movies always have great casts. I mean, you didn't really get to do much, but
No. So I wasn't sad when you died. And your death wasn't even that interesting.
why does Roger L. Jackson have to share a screen there?
I don't know. Well, they all do now.
Yeah.
Nice width for Courtney Cox. And then just a David Arquette.
Well, because he's in the middle. And then and.
Oh, there is an and.
I didn't know her name was Ann Neff Campbell.
I didn't either.
I did know it was with Courtney Cox.
Well, yeah, from Cougar
She just
Town.
doesn't use it professionally. Radio Silence is the name of the two directors. That's their directing team. Like how the Daniels are the two guys named Daniel that made Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, and then there's the D&D people who were the Game of Thrones. I can't remember their names, but they were called D&D.
I don't know. I know this. I'm looking very hard for Best Boys.
Yeah. Boy, check my backyard. I, too, am looking for the Best Boys. There was something I was going to say just a second ago. So I never figured out who another grizzled person was who you see their arc and where they end up through the series of movies.
I'm sure that there is one.
And I haven't...
Well, I mean, Lori kind of does that.
Yeah, but again, they change. You know what I mean? Like what she is and her background, it resets itself every so often. Oh, we're in the electricians, the rigging electricians. This is
Dimmer tech. Is somebody just literally dimming lights?
Yeah, this is Best Boy territory. Ooh, there's a tool person on this one. I could be a tool person.
A dimmer switch is what they used to do that awesome Michael Myers effect in the doorway. It was just a simple dimmer. One of the most memorable things.
There's a paint gang boss.
I didn't see a Best Boy, Pete.
That is crazy. How could a movie this good not have a Best Boy? I didn't see a Best Boy either. Rewind it. Go back.
That's usually where the Best Boy would have come in right now.
Yeah.
But maybe
100%.
Maybe they're giving him a special credit, like an and Best Boy.
They should. There wasn't even a Best Boy grip.
With Best Boy? Who was lifting stuff? I don't understand.
Who was giving people hand jobs on set?
Tara, after she had that hole in her hand, they were real good ones.
I can imagine. Seemed a little big, but you could probably fill it with stuff. Nope.
I didn't see a Best Boy. I can't believe.
Am flabbergasted.
You know, I liked this movie, and now I don't think I like this movie anymore.
take it back. This movie is garbage. This is
A lot of Foley artists.
absolute trash. Loopers. There were
Oh,
only
they're
two.
the time travelers?
Yeah. I don't see Bruce Willis's name on that list.
They should list them twice.
They should. That would be pretty good. Nope.
I can't believe this.
I got excited when we saw all the Foley people. I thought maybe they're slipping in a Best Boy there for some reason. Oh, here we are in lighting. Maybe this movie is good. Nope, I'm sad again. This movie's trash.
I'm devastated. I enjoyed this movie from opening till now, and now I'm just like, what a piece of shit.
End crawl by the end?
Maybe they're just saving it. Maybe they're just like going to give him a title card at the end.
This is a very confusing credits.
Oh, we're into the music already. That's usually the end of the line.
That's the end of the movie, buddy. Did you ever, at the end of movies, when you heard a song you liked, go to the back so you could, before the internet, and watch these parts so you could see what the song was and who the artist was?
Of course I have.
All right, I'm just checking.
I remember life before the internet.
All right. Because I've done that now instead of using the internet. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to see what that song was.
See, Henry Winkler, Matthew Lillard did it, Jamie Kennedy, Drew Barrymore,
Ryan Johnson.
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody.
Ryan Johnson was thanking him for that joke, which I believe they cleared with him beforehand.
Really?
Yes. They didn't have a Best Boy. Maybe you know why? Because Wes Craven was the Best Boy this time around.
All right.
They gave him
Honorary Best Boy.
They gave him a
to
very
Wes
special
Craven.
for Wes at the beginning. That was his Best Boy credit.
Yeah, it must have been it. 2022. That's when this movie came out.
Boy.
You could have just told me and saved my brain from wondering this whole time. Ooh, now they're telling us that 4,000 people had jobs.
But none of them were the Best Boy.
None of them were the Best Boy because we gave it to Wes Craven.
I understand this time.
There's that Paramount with 22 stars for the original 22 stars of the people who were in that studio.
Yep, that was Scream 2022. See why I call it that? What does it say on the screen there? Scream 2022.
It's what it says. I just forget what year it is.
There's just no other way to do it because there's already a movie called Scream.
Is this the trilogy? You've got 2001,
2010,
and then
What
2022.
was the subtitle for 2010? Day We Made Contact.
I don't know. I never saw it.
It's like a way underrated movie.
I never finished part one, so
I know you haven't.
I get it. I know the parts.
You mean one of Nicolas Cage's 4 favorite movies of all time?
That's one of Nicolas Cage's 4 favorite. Well, he saw the beginning with the monkeys,
We
right?
did this on the podcast.
I forgot, but I remember now.
It was Citizen Kane,
Eh,
The 400 Blows,
I can't believe it's
2001: A
real
Space
movie.
Odyssey, and a movie whose name I don't remember. Shattered Windows or some shit.
That's right. I think I came to the conclusion that it's okay for him to get inspiration from wherever he wants. Because I'm no Nicolas Cage.
That's true.
I try, but I'm not. I'm not him.
In what ways do you try?
I sometimes watch movies that he's in, and I go, I really like that guy, Nicolas Cage. He's a great actor.
I think we talked about the movie some of this, but it felt like we got away from it after a while. I don't remember.
I don't know. I like this movie, though.
It's a good one.
And I want to watch part 6.
Yeah,
That's not Scream 2024. It's Scream 6.
It's Scream 6.
And it came out in 2023, I think. Did
It
that come out
did.
this year?
It did.
I guess so, because that one came out in 2022, so it couldn't have come out in 2021. Oh, imagine if it did. Scream 6 came out first, and then Scream 2022 came out.
If you watch Scream 4, when they talk about the Stab movies, Stab 5 involves time travel.
Oh, boy.
Which is that would work for both the thing you just said and for the podcast we're going to record next, which you will have probably heard many weeks ago.
That's right. Time travel.
Time travel.
Go watch Back to the Future.
Or the other one.
No.
No. Just go watch Back to the Future. Go watch Back to the Future 3, then 1, then 2, because the time is relative.
Yes.
Actually, don't watch 2. 2 sucks. Yep, I said it. I don't care.
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
Fuck. Crows.
I got one in there.